What's up, everybody? Welcome to Call to Action Live. I pushed the button quicker than people anticipated. It's fine. Thank you for joining us this awesome Sunday night. It's going to be a pretty great episode. PLD couldn't make it this time, but that's great because we still have an amazing cast of crazy people, as you've come to expect on C2A. And starting with, to my right, the lovely, the amazing, the talented Alex Mack. How are you doing?
What's up? What I posted on Twitter, like what's going on. Like this was something that was kind of thrown together super duper last minute. And I was like, I just need some kind of interaction today. I feel like I've done nothing. So let's do something. Maybe not. I'm not sure. So I'm glad to hang out with you guys.
All right. And below us, we have the amazing, the awesome, the talented Addie. How you doing, Adelaide?
Good. I haven't been here for a while. I'm chilling in my brand new leggings and then not really doing much else. Just relaxing, I guess.
Are those space themed leggings?
Yes, they look like the background of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have space themed leggings too.
Oh, yay. Welcome to Close to Action, everyone.
Yeah, look at my cool new shirt I got. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've done some things since I was on camera last time.
Space themed.
Don't leave somebody bored and alone with hair dye.
Also, I also have like makeup themed leggings.
Those are beautiful.
Like there's a eye palette. There's nail polish. There's lipstick. There's a brush. Compact.
Those are amazing.
They are really comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. They are. They're like way too comfortable for what they're like ridiculous.
Sorry, Robert. I'm helping him break. No, not April. Apologies.
Very nice. All right. Well, we have a pretty cool show in store for you. We are going to be recapping everything that happened this week. And that, because of the way things are right now, is one really incredible match. So we are going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Starting with the scene that we got to see before it started, which I was not anticipating. And oh my gosh. Anytime I have those guys on camera together, I am not going to complain about it. It was amazing.
It was so good. Okay, I was telling Lucas like low key because the entire time I was like, ugh. It was like it's been like low key, not like the best match of the year, but low key one of my favorite matches of the year so far because of that scene. But also Brittany Young, she's amazing in every single way. So
also, I have this headcanon in my mind now. I think that at least Bobby Gucci is our Cliff Booth. Every chance he gets, he'll just walk around and rip his shirt off.
Who's Cliff Booth?
It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's character.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that.
No, I don't either, but...
I love that movie.
I really don't like that movie.
I love that movie. It's fine. Agree to disagree. But yeah, but that scene was fantastic. I'm loving Debonair. Like, I was really skeptical of what it was going to be like to see Ghai as that type of character, and I knew he was going to nail it, but, like, I'm really enjoying it, too. And, like, the bow tie looks so great.
Well, do you think there was going to be, like, low-key some kind of, like, weird team-up situation between Ghai and Bobby Gucci now? Like,
It's looking kind of like it to me.
Like, am I hearing, like, Ghai being potentially recruited into Fitstock Exchange, or even... vice versa, Bobby Gucci might be throwing usual suspects a bone or something.
I mean, okay, let's be fair. Andrew Ghai wouldn't join the worst faction. If anything's gonna happen, we're gonna get ourselves some little Ben Bateman over here. Maybe just get all of Who's the Boss, you know? Really make the usual suspects the rockin' faction that it deserves to be. Or I just want Team Action back together because I miss my dads.
I don't think it'll happen in a million years. I'm not gonna lie. If it does happen, it's gonna happen like next year. Karloff has said that. He's like, I would love to, but it's not gonna happen.
Fair.
Here's the thing: slow burn though. It could be like the end game of the show, where little tiny little things start getting planted, little things start slowly happening, building up to a big, huge reunion in a year or two to come.
When in Houston 2 next year, you have Ben Bateman tackle John Roca in the wrestling ring. It's like, who's the boss now, bitch? And then you shoot the scene from Rocky 3 where they're just like hugging on the beach.
Oh, so much potential with what's going to happen there. But I am.
As long as they're both like wearing those like weird mankinis, they don't see it. Like they're running and they're hugging and they're wearing their
yes,
like tank tops.
Indoors.
Like when like working out on the beach and they're like running and hugging in slow motion. I mean,
and your Sweet Victory playing in the background.
Exactly. Or Chariots of Fire, maybe.
Wait, can we make that a promo of the entire Finstock Exchange just running on a beach to the opening song from Chariots of Fire?
Oh God, no! You mean that's the movie?
Yeah.
That's the name of the song too.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh shit. Yeah.
That's the title of the song, apparently, supposedly.
I haven't seen it.
It's a very boring, bland movie about a lot of men that learn to run for the first time.
I mean, I like Shakespeare in Love, so apparently I like generic, bland, boring stuff.
When I say that, it's a very much a movie of the times. It's about a bunch of young men that are at college age. They go to like Oxford and Cambridge and everything, and they decide that they're all of a certain like upper class, and they're like, well, no one else is able to compete in the Olympics. Let's all compete. And they're running on the beach and say, who would win this race to represent England in the Olympics?
So it's the King's Speech meets Cool Runnings, but in the worst way possible.
That's how it goes. And there's like a slow run in Scotland at one point where like one rich English guy, he's like, no Scotsman can outrun me. And he's like, oh, shit, he's actually fast. But he's like really like hating all the Scots people. It's like rough. Anyway, sorry.
I have never even heard of that movie, so I'll need to.
It won Best Picture in 1986. I think that's the right year.
Vangelis, he did the score. One of those iconic scores ever.
Who?
Vangelis, he did Blade Runner.
Oh yes, the man who has a cool name, but that's about it.
If
you couldn't tell me and Alex are studying a lot right now.
So he's really great with a lot of he's one of the people that really made synth music super popular, especially that's being used in movies. But he's amazing. He did the themes. He did the entire not only score, but he picked all the songs and everything for a lot of the soundtracks for Blade Runner, as well as Blade Runner. He inspired everything for Blade Runner 2049 as well. But it's pretty. Even if you're not a big fan of the movies are attached to, those scores are great.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex rant.
We love an Alex rant here, so I'm not complaining. And it's great because PLD's out here, so an Alex rant can just do what it needs to do and just stick to the point. And no person contradicting you the entire time.
All I know, if you start saying that Shannon's the face again, I will go off and make myself a second one of these.
What is that? You described that as like a
frozen abomination.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is a frozen Elvis.
Yeah, it's a
banana daiquiri with peanut butter and chocolate.
What? Explain.
So it's a banana daiquiri with peanut butter and chocolate. Okay. It's a frozen Elvis, and I'm drinking most of it.
And now we have Alex throw up on camera.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, I really genuinely want to throw up right now. Not because the thing is not because of your drink. It's just because your drink sounds so rich. Okay, so let me tell you my diet for the day. Okay. This morning I had maybe a quarter of a sheet pan. So I had like this much, not exaggerating, like this much of funeral potatoes. So funeral potatoes, if you're not familiar, is butter, sour cream, cheese, potatoes, topped with some fried up of potato crisps or breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm. And Utah, we use cornflakes. And
yeah, so just depending on what you have. I made a huge thing of it the other day, and I put it in the fridge so I can munch on for the rest of the week. So I ate a quarter of that for lunch today when I woke up at 2:00. And after that, I didn't eat until much later. where Lucas ended up he ended up ordering a huge batch of Thai food, and right before that I had a bowl of mac and cheese, and I had crab rangoon. So I've had a lot of cheese today.
Would you like some more dairy?
That's the thing. The amount of richness and the amount of cheese I've consumed today is obnoxious.
You can't have too much cheese, though. I mean, like, there's some foods you can't. Cheese.
Tell you otherwise. Like, I'm Asian. I'm not supposed to eat that much cheese. Like, it's true. But yeah, I'm not. There's no effect on the peanut potatoes. Though.
Just to explain my sort of mindset is, assuming this quarantine drops at all, I'm trying to become a bartender during the summer so I can actually find a reliable job to lean back on. So I'm learning weird shit and trying new shit, and this is shit. But I'm learning.
Peanut butter chocolate monstrosity, yes.
Yeah.
Is shit.
That's a good name for it, Alex. I like that name better.
Peanut butter chocolate monstrosity.
That was my name in high school.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, just kind of point on that the scene though we were talking about earlier, but by far between Andrew Ghai, Gucci, what's going on with that mask? I thought
what happened there?
R&B, I thought he destroyed it, like in that little dumpster fire situation.
But can you ever destroy Gucci?
Maybe it's not flammable and we didn't know that. Like, it's burning it, and then like they went and found the ashes, and there it was, perfectly intact, because you can't burn Finstock.
So in that case, do you think it's the mask is coming back?
I mean,
I feel like it's got to.
Yes, it has come back. We have seen it.
No. I mean, like, is he gonna start wearing it again on screen?
I mean, what if we go back to like season 3 area where Gucci and Dagnino are
two different people?
Exactly.
Yeah, I hope that. I love that was my favorite. Like when they were.
What if
both...
Gucci or what if Dagnino is Guy's new partner?
Or remember how in Draco he was Finstock for like a match? He pretended to be Finstock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if like Bateman or John Roca or something like that did that again for the Rocky match? Just
there's so much possibilities of what's happening here.
Rocky match, right? He's up against Christian. Am I wrong?
No,
Oh no.
It's been a while. I think you're right.
I thought that was the announced exhibition match between the two.
Yeah, I think so.
That's one I didn't pay attention to. But better headcanon, what if the Dagnino mask is the Finn? Who's real and who's fake? Shit.
Huh?
What if the Finstock mask is actually like the Venom symbiote and takes over whoever controls it? So while Finstock is Guy's partner, it could be anyone in the league.
Who's wearing it?
Yes. Boom. Dan Merle is Finstock.
Right there. That's some baloney. That's some DNA, my friend.
Okay, hey, have this.
Because no one can be Bobby Finstock, but Finstock.
But better headcanon, what if Andrew Ghai just sewed a new one because he loves Dagnino that much?
Oh, that sounds like that's
impossible.
The Banner that we know and love.
Dagnino as much as Bobby Finstock.
That's Guy going face. It's him just learning sewing, or what? No, it was crochet for that.
It's him learning to sew and be like, "Fuck, I missed the stitch." Oh.
He's gonna come in with just like needlepoint hands. Have you met me, Robert? I am pretty deep into nerd. I own fucking Howard the Duck. Okay, I have become a perpetual. There's no saving me.
Well, I'm excited for the mask to come back. That is my big takeaway. When Lucas and I watched this match together on the couch the other day, I was like, not kidding, by far my favorite cutscene so far this year. Low-key, it's probably not the best match, you know what I mean? Like, you know, especially after, like, you know, the title match in between, you know, Bateman and Merle and everything. But low-key, one of the most entertaining matches I've seen so far this year.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And that round 1, like, okay, getting into the actual match. Are we done talking about the...
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
talk about it more at the end when we talk about the end scene as well. But this match was really great. Round 1, we actually have a reaction that we haven't posted yet that we will post hopefully tomorrow maybe, where we played along. But I had fun playing around with the first round, like round 1. I actually did better than I thought. I kind of like that they've incorporated the questions back into the league from earlier, because now I can actually kind of keep up, which, I mean, for me, that doesn't really matter, but for new Schmoedown viewers, that might be the difference between them changing the channel or changing to a different channel and watching it. The fact that they can kind of sort of keep up. So that's nice. I'm actually liking that a lot for this season, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost Alex.
Anyways, what Alex is saying is, doesn't matter. Let's go back to talking about shitty margaritas or shitty daiquiris, everyone. And I prefer the harder questions only because it's you guys can hear more about Perfect Rounds in the Call to the Family thing recorded on Friday. And Robert Parker mentioned a great thing about how Perfect Rounds feel like they mean something when they're more rare. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like it's more surprising when someone doesn't get a perfect round, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in the reaction we had 3 people and it was like 877 or something.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's cool. But then I know old time it was like, oh my god, it's a perfect round, which is why we freaked out so much when Dewberry got it, which is why we coined the term a Dewberry.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's going to be the difference between people who've been in it a while and we got Alex back. Hi.
Magic, motherfucker.
Oh, magic. She's back. But what I was saying is, like, the league is definitely changing this season, especially the Skybounds, came in, things like that. I think they're wanting to go to a bigger, wider audience. And I think it's only going to help the Schmoedown grow. For us, like, I guess you call us, like, diehards or whatever, it does feel different. It doesn't feel like the way it's felt for a long time. I did prefer the harder questions, because then when I did know something, I felt more proud of myself a little bit too.
Yeah, it kind of creates the, I feel like illusion might be the wrong word to use, but it kind of creates the idea that, anyone could play along and anyone could be a contender in this. And if you think that you're more likely to be a contender or be good at something, chances are you're more likely to watch another episode or continue watching. Let's just be honest here. I mean, Schmoedown is driven by the story, the characters, the matches themselves. It's not driven by the trivia itself. So,
and it comes down to the end of the day. Do you want it to be Dagnino R&B for every match, especially with the newcomers, or do you want it to be like Ratatouille, where anyone can compete?
Yeah, it's.
What? Do you know that? Do you not know the line, Alex?
I know who Ratatouille is, but I mean,
from Gusteau. It's the phrase in this book. Anyone can cook.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Boom,
that movie grosses me out. I can't watch it.
I love that movie.
Mom and I, neither one of me, I think it's really cute and everything, but at the same time, it grosses me out the idea of a rat making my food.
But he washes his hands.
Yeah, and at the time that movie came out, it had like 10 pet rats.
You're a fucking rat, and you hang out in the sewer. You're not prepping my croquette.
That's so adorable. Actually, very clean. They clean themselves as often, if not more often, than cats. I've had many rats in my home.
If the rat is dumped in the beach, not But also, I do recognize it's a great movie. I actually really enjoy the movie, aside from making me gag over the idea of.
You know what else makes you gag? A frozen Elvis. Cheers, everyone.
So much dairy. I so much dairy.
I'm lactose intolerant.
You're lactose intolerant? How white are you, though?
How white? What?
Yeah.
Very.
I thought you were like English or French or something.
I am white. That's all I know. White. I for a while thought I was 1/16th Native American. I am 1/32nd. That's about it.
You're not helped. Let's say if someone tells me that's their situation, I'm like,
Or it was literally just because for colleges they say if you're 1/16th or more Native American, they give you reduced tuition. That's the only reason I know anything.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Okay, sure. That's not how lactose intolerance works. But I'm just saying, statistically speaking, he's probably less lucky.
Just because I consume a lot of white stuff,
added a lot more
make me
in
white.
their diet versus Asian Americans. Not Asian, sorry. Versus a lot of Asians, lactose intolerant is like in 70 or 80% of the population because it wasn't really introduced into their diet until somewhat recently. Versus like Europeans.
The statistics are on your side, Alex.
It's
Lucas
very
is right, that's how it works, but also your statistics are on point. So, because there is for example, my mom's side of the family, almost everybody is lactose intolerant, and that's the side of the family where my Native American heritage is. And that tends to be a thing. So,
most of the family in my Thai side of family, they're like good 75-80% of my family in Thailand is lactose intolerant. My mom, she still eats mountains of cheese, even though, and like
that's my mom too.
Even though she's like, it's awful for me. I know what's gonna happen, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's my mom and sister. They're both very lactose intolerant, but that does not deter them at all. Yeah. So
I mean, like mac and cheese. I mean, it's delicious. I mean,
yeah, that's what I had for lunch.
You gotta love those grilled cheeses.
Mac and cheese.
Those quesadillas. Cheeseburger.
This is now called to cheese, and we'll just talk about cheese for a good couple hours. I'm down.
My like new question I've been asking competitors and everything. Like Bibiana, he's like, AMA. I got 20 minutes to spare. Come do an AMA with me. And I'm like, what's your favorite kind of cheese? And he's like, this is the most interesting question of the day I've heard.
What's your favorite kind of cheese?
Depends on the day. I do like Gruyere.
I love blue cheese
with maybe some sliced basil with some garlic butter.
I love white cheddar. I think it's tangier, brings more to the conversation just regular cheddar.
Depends on the cheddar. I don't know, like I like a really solid sharp cheddar, but like I'm not into like I don't like pepper jack.
Yeah, I think if you go just like buy the box, just written as like cheddar, I feel like that's like not. I don't think it's great. Probably one of the worst cheeses above like maybe like a 3-cheese blend, which I'm not a huge fan of. But like straight up white cheddar, I will put on anything. It's
you know what? Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
And I think you're right. I think that wins. That's my favorite cheese too. Cheesecake.
Yeah. Mascarpone. What's it called? Oh, yeah, mascarpone is up here. Cream cheese is way down here.
I love cream cheese.
Okay, so most of the lactose is in whey. It is also why cheese is generally has drastically fewer carbs than milk. So I didn't know that, but that makes 100% sense. Because Lucas has made cheese before.
What?
Lucas actually has made cheese before.
Lucas, marry me.
He's kind of taken.
He's actually made when he went through. He made a handful of like really yummy curries, and like when we were meal prepping, he made really yummy curries, and so to go with it, he made paneer. Paneer is an Indian style cheese. Oh, it's so good! It's a really great soft cheese. It's like so like buttery and soft, and
that is so fresh. Just made to.
Yeah, and he would make it like a huge batch of it, like over a few hours in a day, and I would just see like these huge patties, like 5 of them, just hanging out in the fridge, just waiting to be pressed, and I'm like, ugh.
And then you put the paneer on some fries with some gravy, and you get some poutine.
That sounds disgusting.
That sounds amazing.
I actually do like poutine though.
I still haven't had it.
Poutine is like just like a different version of loaded fries, though.
Yeah, it's just very specific loaded fries.
Yeah, different version of loaded fries. Like, oh no, poutine has gravy.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Most gravy I've had though isn't like great. Usually it's like too salty.
Well, see, that's why you make your own gravy. Sort of making your own cheese. All you need is fries. You can get those anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, are we good with Calt's cheese corner, or?
I mean, we didn't even get to the blue cheeses, man. Come on.
Blue cheese is my favorite cheese. I love blue cheese. I love blue cheese.
What is wrong with you?
I put it on
Who are you?
burgers. I put it in salads.
Were your like taste buds like tweaked out of your mouth?
You were already
Am I-
eating like basically fermented milk. You're just fermenting it more. You just fuck cheese. You destroyed it.
Yeah, my
Oh my
second
God.
favorite is feta. So like I like the like crumbly,
Oh wait,
kind of
Was it-
soury, bittery cheeses. Yeah.
have you heard of that like really gross French cheese that's only they can only France can make it? But essentially, it's like considered so fancy and so rare. It's like $5,000 like for a little block of it kind of situation.
That's disgusting.
It's so rare. It's so difficult because the government only allows so much of it to be made every year because it's so bad for you. Well, it's not much bad for you. It's just disgusting. A specialty kind of fly lays eggs in it to soften a certain
I
way.
hate that.
It's just, and it's like aged over like a certain period of time where it looks straight up like nasty fly shit.
That's disgusting.
And
I
then
hate
they put a price point on it, and it's like considered mega fancy.
Wait, question. Okay, so this is a weird question. Do you guys watch the Try Guys at all?
I used to. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay, so somewhat recently, in the last year, they had an episode where Keith went and ate like a bunch of different cheeses at like a cheese refinery or something like that. And there's a certain kind of cheese where it's like it has like that typical like outer crust, but you cut into it and it literally just pours out.
Okay.
It's basically like nacho cheese. The center of it.
Okay. That sounds disgusting.
It sounds amazing. Are you kidding? Imagine just cutting into cheese and like immediately being able to dip into it with some chips.
I want cheese
On a more
now.
positive note, I did find exactly what it's called. It's called kasu marzu.
That
It
sounds-
is a
Sounds
it is
fancy.
a Palestinian traditional sheep's milk cheese that contains live
sheep's milk.
insect larvae, aka maggots. That is made in a southern Corsican village. It's derived from pecorino, and I love pecorino.
That sounds good.
Oh God! But the kasu marzu is created by leaving whole pecorino cheese outside with the part of the rind removed to allow eggs of the cheese fly, I can't pronounce that Latin word, to be laid in the cheese itself. The fly can lay more than 500 eggs at a time, and the eggs hatch, and the larvae begin to eat through the cheese, and the acid from the maggots and digestive system breaks down the cheese's fats, making the texture of the cheese incredibly soft. But at the time it is ready for consumption, a typical kasu marzu will contain thousands of these maggots.
I'll try it.
Okay, wait.
Maggots don't gross me out,
wait.
though. I was going to go into forensics. Maggots do not gross me out.
Quick suggestion because of Robert in the chat.
True crime nut. So you're probably like, yes.
Yeah, if I see them in my house, I'm like, oh, I have maggots. I probably should let them outside or something.
Wait, idea. Oh, wait, wrong. There you go. So Robert, whatever. I feel like a lot of the people in this community have said like they make bomb ass food. What if we have like a schmodown like cookout, where like we all get together like the day before Spectacular, and just like have a big like grill off or something.
That would be so cool.
Right.
I've actually hosted grilled cheese competitions at my house before. I've
And
done it for like birthday parties and stuff, where so you can pick your own toppings and everything. Where you can be like, if you want just straight up mac and cheese, or if you want sliced tomato, if you want basil, if you want garlic butter, do you want to use mayonnaise? What kind of cheese do you have? I have like 30 different types of cheeses, but I love doing like those cooking themed like gatherings.
And then we could have like the Fear Factor corner where people could do like the Death Nut challenge, and like I can eat the maggot cheese and stuff.
Death Nut was also my name in high school.
Probably exactly.
Death Nut are those like peanuts they put like the extremely hot peppers on, and you get progressively hotter.
Oh yeah,
challenge. Yeah, I still have some. We had some at Spectacular that we never did, and I somehow ended up with them, so they are at my house right now. Thanks, Jake.
Have you ever done like the hot sauce challenge?
No, but I love hot sauce. I love heat. I love spicy things.
We in my house, in our fridge, we literally have like 2 shelves dedicated to hot sauce. Lucas has a monthly hot sauce subscription and he gets like 3
do
new
that.
fancy hot sauces every month. And but he's like done the hot sauce challenge that buy like hot ones and all that good stuff. And he's gone through every single one of them without any issues. But some of them are just hot for no reason. Like there's no flavor, and that kind of makes me sad.
I'll eat hot for hot's sake, but I prefer that needs to be flavor behind heat. Like if it's just heat for heat's sake.
Yeah.
Like in Atlanta, we had extra hot wings, and those were kind of heat for heat's sake. They were mostly just hot. There was no like real flavor backing it up.
Flavor. Not flavor. Flavor.
Flavor.
Yeah, like Flavor Flav, the greatest rapper of all time.
Flavor.
Let's run with that.
No.
No,
Yeah,
he is the greatest rapper ever in the history of ever. Flavor Flav has done so much for the rap industry.
You're right. He's brought us some flavor.
Okay, Flavor Flav has done some pretty cool stuff, though. I mean, you got to being with Public Enemy. I mean,
yeah, he had a reality show where he dated girls half his age. Isn't that cool?
But also, who doesn't do that?
Well, that's like the thing now, though.
Literally every single.
Well, they would be like 10.
Right now.
So.
How young or how ridiculous can we date? Just for the purpose of the reality show.
Wait, what's that Parks and Rec math equation? Kelsey, help me out.
Half your age plus 7, isn't it?
You said that really quickly.
It's math. You just have to do math sometimes. It's fine.
It was like, Andy was like, and she's above 16, which is okay, but it's not. That's gross. I'm not listening to Tom anymore.
Florence Pugh is dating Zach Braff, and he's 45, and she's like,
yeah, and that's not okay. That's like gross, Av. She deserves better.
Well, he's also a trash human being, but also like she like
who?
Yeah.
What?
Florence Pugh is way better. Like Zach Braff is not like a good human.
Why?
He's like an annoying prick.
Why?
Because he's annoying.
That's not helping the situation. He could be the coolest guy in the world. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen Chips? That's the guy who's married to Kristen Bell. Whatever.
But also, who doesn't? You mean Dax Shepard?
Dax Shepard.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, that's who it is.
I love Dax Shepard.
He's a treasure.
Dax Shepard is wonderful. I love him. Zach Braff. I love Zach Braff. I love Scrubs. I love him. He's so great. But don't get me wrong, no man is perfect, obviously. Lucas is perfect, as his gams.
Yeah. I mean, he has gams, he makes cheese. I mean, he's bored there, Alex.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I might have tried to fight a few kids. Thankfully, you didn't catch it on camera, but I might have done that one too many times.
All right. We are 32 minutes in this episode. We haven't covered round 1, really.
Yeah. No. We've talked about question difficulty. Okay, we did talk about something.
We talked about question difficulty.
We are actually talking about more important topics than Schmodown right now.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. It was 7-6. Next question, Kelsey. Which kid would you punch in the face? According to Alex.
What?
Gosh, I've seen so many asshole kids, straight up asshole children. I'm like, no, just like. No, no. My mom would have just like slapped me silly if I behaved the way I've seen some kids. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Supposedly, it's fine. It's fine. Here's the thing, though. There's less Schmodown to talk about lately, so.
This is like Collider Live. You can talk about the main topic at least once, and the rest of the show doesn't matter because you kept to the title.
Yep. So we're going to start getting clickbait comments. Like, clickbait! You guys aren't a Schmodown show. You're a cheese show. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Dean, if I were a children's show host, that would be the best fucking show ever.
It would be amazing.
Alex is literally...
My kids would love it. I'm just telling you right now, my kids would love it.
I would just be looking at him and be like,
Alex is the Santa from A Christmas Story. Just, so like a kid just punt him down the slide.
I hate that movie. No, that movie makes me so uncomfortable on such a ridiculous level.
Like lamps.
It just makes me. It's so bad. It's so scary and sad. Oh. It's like genuinely sad.
Oh yeah, there's some whole chocolate chips at the bottom of this.
There's chocolate chips.
I know I had chocolate syrup, and I didn't. So I just threw some chocolate chips in there, which I've been using as snacks for a while. I am not treating my body great during this quarantine. How y'all doing?
I am not as well. I've also, like Alex, eaten a lot of cheese today.
No, this is actually making me sick. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Malcolm, I would totally co-host a show with Samuel L. Jackson. We'll just see who can say like motherfucker more in like a span of a minute.
I just would win, Alex. You could take him on that. I have faith.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I completely like took this off topic, talking about
okay.
cheese, and then we talked about that weird larvae situation that you're talking about, how you're so like really turned on by the maggots, and
I'm really turned on by the maggots.
You're like, hey, all those maggots, totally good to eat it.
The tolerance of maggots is quite different than being turned on by maggots. Let's just say that.
Girl, you're into some like like crime shit, so you never know.
Yeah.
That like true crime documentaries and stuff, that in like the podcast you talk about like how to like dissolve a body in 20 different ways or something, and I'm like, no, this is why I forever want to be on your good side.
I also know a lot about poisons, so mostly because my D&D character is a poisoner, and I wanted to be legit. Be like, okay, this is how I would do it, and it's like, Kelsey, that's way too much detail. I'm like, sorry, I'm in character. But my D&D character is a poisoner.
Oh yeah.
We never got to go further with that.
Right, I was a horse.
Yep, you were a horse, and I was loose apparently, and a wino. So it was a fun game.
I'm not gonna ask.
If you want to know what we're talking about, go find Adventures of Transvail on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hard pass. Girl.
All right, moving on. Round 2. So, round 2 was an interesting round. Okay, so I cannot remember what was fun. Do you have that written down?
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get cheese drunk. Sorry.
Tillamook. I love Tillamook.
Yeah, I literally just a bag of these in the fridge.
They're so yummy.
And back to cheese talk.
Yeah.
I love cheese.
Legitimately, when I was like
so much though, like legitimately. There's like a certain like percentage of the population that are actually they have like something special about the way they taste food, that they're much more sensitive to the taste of food. Like some people have naturally heightened hearing or smelling. Mm-hmm. Some people have tasting food. Apparently, they are like recruited in particular by Tillamook. There's like so many of them where their job is literally to dissect the different flavors and ingredients of their ice cream.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, the guy who just switches it around.
The super duper tasty.
Oh no, he just like it's fucking weird.
Segue again.
I do that every single time I try something new, though.
Segue again, but speaking of tasting things, you know what job I really wouldn't want? To be a taster for Bertie Bott's air flavored beans. Like who else goes like okay, let's perfect the vomit flavored bean. So we're gonna keep testing
the Harry Potter version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Bertie Bott's air flavored beans. Okay, well, what if they paid you like an obnoxious amount of money for it?
Okay, if they paid me a lot, maybe, but like if it's like a normal pay for a job, then it's just not worth it for me.
Okay, where all you had to do was to taste food, hypothetically. Taste, not even like look at it, at how they make it or anything. If you were paid like something small, if you were asked to taste like 5 experimental jelly beans of whatever may be, and you were given like an extra $100 a day, would you do it? For like 5 of them a day.
The vomit ones are so bad though.
They could be grass. They could be raspberry.
I like the grass ones.
They could be bleach flavored. But also, alternatively, they could be like mango
If it's bleach
sorbet
flavored. I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't know how bleach tastes.
I have no clue. I imagine it tastes just like the smell. Like, you know, when people to say that, well, it tastes like the smell of this, and I'm like,
the way they make it is they find like the actual chemical compound that makes the smell, and they try to recreate it with different flavors. They have like a mixing. I don't know what it's called. No, they literally just transform the scent into the taste.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Okay. Well, back to round 2.
Yeah.
Brittany got Oscars.
Yes.
So,
and she went 4 for 8.
Yep.
And Jader still won.
Yep. I was interested round 2 for sure because also he got crime movies, which that is really hard to like pinpoint what kind of movies are going to be in crime movies because like there's so many white collar crime, gangster stuff, murder, like what,
Technically, you can argue a handful of movies by Wes Anderson,
Yeah, there's the slasher movies or crime movies. There's the crime being committed on camera and things like that. So
most movies are crime movies because everyone's jaywalking.
There's a lot of jaywalking. You're right. So every movie almost can be in that.
Yeah, it's well, that's saying because things like certain categories, the difference between like certain categories like comedies versus something specific like Martin Scorsese movies is that usually Martin Scorsese, if there's something specific like that, they're much more specific questions. Obviously, much more intense like plot points questions versus something like a broader one like category or romance. Usually it's a tad more surface. Now, obviously, I'm not a pro here. I'm not a competitor, but that's from what I've seen. But also, it's so difficult to be like, I've seen a bazillion comedies or whatever. It can be almost impossible, essentially, to ace those categories.
For sure. Yeah. Like, okay, so the Oscar questions, I actually did pretty good on them. I think I got most of them right. Crime movies, I think I got them all wrong. I did not know any of those. Like, I was actually really impressed with what Jader did know because those were a lot of those movies I never even heard of.
It's the sandine. It's not a sandwich. It's a slice of cheese.
Yeah, the cheese
most important part of a sandwich,
minus the bread. I'm going low carb.
So it's a slice of cheese.
Yeah.
Bit of cheese.
Yeah.
So he said he knew that Brock's take the Brock tail. Yeah, the Brock tail question. He had a mental fart. Thing is, he didn't know it like he thought. Like even though he had like the initial pronunciation wrong of like the director he was thinking of, but even when he guessed it was part of multiple choice, he still got it wrong. But yeah, that's gonna happen, unfortunately. I'm sorry?
I don't even remember who directed that. Like, I don't think it was a major director. Yeah, it's it was De Niro. Yeah. It's a tough question because like it's not really like you never really think of De Niro as a director, even though he's directed a few movies, like 3 or something. And then it's like A Bronx Tale, everyone remembers, but you don't think of it for the director.
I've never seen that.
Neither have I. I think it was maybe one. I would definitely say it's one of the harder questions of the match. That one feels like season 5, 6, whatever.
I feel like I've heard it. That's like from what I've been told though, it's a very iconic crime movie though. Yeah. Like obviously you can't if you're taking the crime category, it's a necessity to see the Godfather trilogy. Like you can't pick that category without seeing those movies. Like just things like that. I mean, you got to know like the classic, super duper well known ones. You got to see the Goodfellas. You got to see.
You got to know your Scorsese. You got to know Heat. You got to go. No Reservoir Dogs. Like there's some quintessential ones.
Have you guys seen Heat?
I've seen half of it.
I have not seen
Heat. Man, no one got the reference.
Sorry.
I
can go watch it. It's streaming somewhere.
No one got the top 10 reference where they constantly talk about, have you seen Heat? Have you seen Heat?
Oh, yeah.
You guys suck.
Well, that's not watching it. That's watching top 10.
Top 10 was like the first podcast that I started listening to through Schmodown. I was like, oh, these are actual people. So,
I remember I watched them from their second episode onward.
wow.
I missed, it was the first episode was top 10 car chase, and I think the second one was top 10 superhero movies. I started with that one. Yeah.
I see what you did there. Oh my gosh, it's man, I just really want to talk about Val Kilmer now. Damn, Val Kilmer. We just
That's Batman Forever recently.
We're gonna do a Val Kilmer corner now.
We're gonna actually talk about this match. We've gone so off topic, Kelsey, and I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's all right. It's been fun. I never complain about cheese being brought up on numerous occasions, so we're good.
Fair.
All right. So we are we done talking about round 2? So round 2, like we said, was an interesting round.
Let's see.
For sure.
Adelaide, I know you mentioned specifically that you said that there was some kind of dispute with one of the questions, like the Jake number.
Yeah, so let's go back to round 1. I forget what the question was. It may have been, it was, who plays Detective Loki something in Prisoners?
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, let's see if I can write it down so everyone can understand like what exactly I'm saying. So
I mean, there's like I honestly don't care if you get it if it's like written incorrectly, just because there's so many like foreign names now, and a lot of names are like it can be very difficult to be spelled correctly. Like I know if you guys didn't see my last name like 50 million times a day, you probably wouldn't know how to spell my last name realistically. Yep.
Doing it off the sound, especially, that would be like Shaw, SHAW. You know what I mean?
I currently have the hardest name in the world to spell now because I don't see anyone spelling it correctly. I was on Discord earlier today, and someone called me Aladdin. Like people are just that dumb.
Wait, what was your last name on there?
No, just Adelaide. People just don't know how to say that for some reason.
Really? I feel like that's a pretty common name.
It's literally like the third biggest city in Australia.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways. So in round 1, whatever, and it was Jake Gyllenhaal, and Jader said Jake Gyllenhaal, he's probably Jake Gyllenhaal. The issue meaning missing the N, so you're fundamentally like getting the name incorrect.
Yeah, but he said it phonetically correctly though. If he says it correctly, but even if he's written corrected, I mean, like that's like technically, I mean, like.
Well, this comes down to the Freddie Prinze Jr. rule.
1 L versus 2 L's. I mean, like.
But it's Gyllenhaal, Gyllenhaal. He missed the N. That's technically the incorrect name. You can write one, or it comes down to the.
But it's moot point though. It doesn't matter though if it's written incorrectly.
This comes down to the Freddie Prinze Jr. rule or Jane Fonda, where you can say the correct answer, but the board needs to match it, and the board didn't match it.
The difference between that is that there's a difference between having. Oh my gosh, Jane Fonda versus Fonda.
I can see a backwards J in there.
You're like no difference.
Yeah. Oh no! Again, I just use that as an example because it was one of the more prominent ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially like what was it? We had an issue come up, or again, it's the David O. Russell thing, where it's like apostrophe versus a period. You're so close to it, technically it's incorrect. And it's kind of that. It's like he's close, but he's still technically incorrect.
Mm-hmm. I could see the point. Like, okay, so the N is a very critical letter in that name. Like, if it was like in the wrong place, that'd be one thing. But it is a different.
Yeah.
It's different without the N there. I can see your point.
Even if it's
So, okay, let's say hypothetically if it was Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
What if they put Anne, A-N-N-E?
Yeah.
I mean, is that, to me, that sounds the exact same. Or if you said Hathaway, where they spelled it like Hathaway, only they spelled it with a W-A-E at the end. Instead of that,
because it's still pronounced the same way reading it. But now, if it was Hathaway without the H, it's now Hathaway, and it's not the same word. Does that make sense?
I mean,
it doesn't affect the pronunciation.
Yeah, but he didn't pronounce it incorrectly.
I think
If he pulled it in Draco, where he ended up pronouncing it exactly the way he wrote it, completely different situation.
I still think Draco shouldn't have gotten the points. However, I would say if that map was released before this one, not a big deal. I would say giving the point would seem sort of like in trend.
Mhm.
I thought it was more ironic that those happened so recently, and no one is talking about this.
Okay, what about foreign names?
I mean,
Gyllenhaal's name is kind of a difficult name to write down. Do all names have to be both written correctly as well as that? I mean, like,
what we're saying is, if you wrote it in a way that if you read it phonetically, it still sounds like the name, it's one thing.
Okay.
Like Geppetto and Geppetto, if you still read it, it still says Geppetto. It's just spelled.
Okay, well, what about really names that are really difficult? Like, what about what's-his-face that played Killer Croc in Suicide Squad, where it's like 30 letters?
Yeah, I mean,
do you have that entire thing done correctly? And Gyllenhaal is actually, it's not a super common name. It's like he's technically it's rooted as like I can't remember. He said it like during the interview. He said it's like rooted in Israeli or something. But regardless, it's not like a super common name. It's not exactly a.
But it's missing a fundamental part of it. It'd be like, and you were thinking of Anne Hathaway. Someone wrote Anne Hathaway. If you don't have the A in there, it's fundamentally an incorrect name.
I mean, someone put down, I can't even think of Francis Ford Coppola. If I put,
but it's still spelled correctly.
What if I didn't? What if I spelled it like?
If you did like.
Okay, let's say. What if I spelled it?
Welcome to Spell to Action, everyone.
Ford. I'm trying to
your host, Donald Gleason.
What if I thought my entire life this is how I spelled it? Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, is that Capoya or Coppola?
Well, what if I said Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola?
That's still correct. It's still spelled phonetically.
Oh, but you can't really tell. You can't really argue it. I mean, like looking at it from here, kind of looks the same, right?
If that's an I rather than an A, it's incorrect.
They don't have a microscope every single time the match goes up.
Well, that's a pretty small board compared to a whiteboard.
The whiteboard. Instead of the answer being this big and being like this big.
Yeah.
Let's say, you guys are weenies. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman. I mean, like, does he need to have that?
See,
there's no D.
Because there's no D. Now,
I mean, honestly, I mean,
we know Dagino loves to drop the D, and he did it again here. Okay, it needs to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
To me, honestly, they sound identical. Sure, if I'm like really paying attention, be like, it is Chadwick, right?
It is Chadwick Boseman,
or like Chadwick Boseman, but if I just like rushed it and said, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Correct. I would be like, yeah, absolutely correct. Because to me, it's that you got it down for phonetically, but we need to have the spelling and everything down. I mean, so now it just depends on the kind.
Chadwick and Chadwick is not phonetically the same.
So now it depends on the type of spelling.
Well, but like it has to make sense. Like Chadwick Boseman and Chadwick Boseman are not the same name. Now, if they misspelled Chadwick, where you still read each letter and it still came out Chadwick, that's something different.
Yeah.
That's just.
But I mean, so it sounds like it depends on the type of spelling.
Yes. Well, it comes down to like, is it like Damien Chazelle or Damien Chazelle? Because this is still correct, but it's spelled incorrectly. This is wrong, even though it's spelled somewhat correctly.
That's phonetically different. I'm with you here.
It sounds ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't matter. You can put down Damien Chazelle with a CH or whatever.
That's still phonetically correct for the most part.
Yeah.
What if I put Chazelle versus Chazelle?
That's still correct.
If I saw this and I put down, I'm like, yeah, I read that and I'm like, you know what? It is totally correct if you pronounce that as Chazelle. If you said Chazelle with a CH, that is incredibly arguable. But
that one I would say go to a challenge.
That one's
so in that case, it does sound like it depends on the kind of spelling. So this is now almost low-key a spelling bee as well.
Yeah.
Small round is low-key a spelling bee. That's awesome. That's
like I said, as long as the word makes sense when you're reading it the way it's written, like I said earlier, Geppetto and Geppetto, like it's still, you read that misspelled word, it still spells
foreign
Geppetto.
names? Does that count?
Huh?
What about foreign names? Like a lot of like the really like
If-
mentioned, like the one with like
If you read it and it still sounds the same,
What?
then yes,
Well,
even
like,
if
if you spell like Guillermo without the L's, we'd still give it to you.
if you spell Guillermo with like a Y, I would still, you know what I mean? Like it,
Like,
still phonetically the same.
well, it's like the way but sometimes the way things are actually written down is not the way it is phonetically spelled. Like Guillermo has 2 L's, even though it doesn't sound like it has 2 L's.
Yeah,
So,
but what we're saying is
you can't go. We can't really kind of go into every single name like that.
but see, like if let's say someone spelled Guillermo with a Y, you still read it.
Guillermo.
It makes sense. Now they spell Guillermo and there's this random like D or a X or something in there that makes 0 sense, then it's wrong because it's not phonetically.
But what if it's French?
What if it's French? Like I said, okay, if it's spelled correctly, it's correct. If it's spelled incorrectly, but if you read it, it still sounds the same.
And you're like, I don't know, but it's a French name and it's spelled correctly. But I'm like, it's.
Well, here, Alex. So, like what we're saying is compared to like what AJ has in the chat here. If someone answered Guillermo del Toro but wrote it as Guelmo, that'd be incorrect.
Yeah, it would be incorrect.
Okay, so honestly, it depends on how they pronounced it. It's again, I mean, it just depends on how they pronounce it. Now, sure, if it was like a Jane Fonda situation where it was like completely scribbled, that's one thing. But if it's clear that they know the answer and they had it phonetically correct, I would give it to them. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Did someone rename this episode "Eating Cheese and Spelling Bees"?
Yeah.
Eating cheese and spelling bees. That's actually a great name. All right, so we talked about that for round 1 and round 2. We can talk going into round 3 if you're all ready for that.
Yeah. Pull up the questions.
Pull up the questions. So yeah, round 3, like I kind of feel like I knew where it might be going at that point, but it was still a really close match. I love both these competitors, not just because of their gameplay, but Brittany is adorable on the mic, and her interaction with Kaiser was just a gem. And then I knew it back in Orlando when I saw him. Jader is great on the mic as well, and I knew that from him before he even started, and he proved it, especially with like the shirt and the whole vibe he had. It was great. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So Jader's 2-point, which MCU actress stars opposite Adam Driver in Marriage Story, which I think is actually a really important question. Because to my knowledge, it's the first time that a Netflix movie has been a predominant point swinger in a match.
I thought Ron has been asked.
Has it?
I thought it was.
I don't know exactly, but I don't know. To me, this means a lot. Because I think Netflix movies being asked about is like a big sign of like whole other thing is open. And even if it's just the Oscar-nominated stuff, you can't just write it off. Like especially as a competitor myself, it's like, okay, so here's like a foreign film which gets 0 buzz, not gonna come up in a match.
Mm-hmm.
Here's from a first-time director who's had like mediocre reception, no wide box office. Doesn't matter. Now Netflix movies do matter, so you have to go out of your way and actually try and watch them.
Thank you, AJ. Yeah, so I totally agree. I would feel bad for at what point does it stop when it comes to Netflix movie questions. Because please give a thumbs up. That'd be really awesome. Thing is, I mean, like, there's so much Netflix movies out there. Like, at what point do they have to stop? I mean, is it kind of determined by if they're award winning, or depending on how popular they are? Are they going to ask about To All the Boys I Loved Before? I love that movie, the movies. However, I mean, at what point? Like, obviously, Marriage Story, Roma, all the buzz. They deserve every part of it. But considering that's like, should like the hundreds upon hundreds of movies that's on Netflix, do they have to be part of the same category?
I think the importance and DNX pointed out in chat here, they do have to be released in theaters.
Theatrically released.
Yeah, and that's still like a big part of it, but it's still the idea of like being released exclusively on Netflix, either at the same time or very soon after. It's still a big decision because then you realize that you have a lot more access to these. And my proposal of like a Netflix category or like a Netflix slice around 2 suddenly like it really changes how you approach the game because of what you have more access to and what you want to prioritize in studying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be cool if they would get, in general, Netflix movies in there, because there's a lot of really good ones that were not theatrically released, but there's also a shit ton of them.
It sounds like it almost
there are so many of them.
On whether or not Netflix wants to. Okay, so if it gets gets awards buzz where Netflix decides to financially back it up and put it in theaters, then they could lead to questions.
Yeah,
I
think
if it doesn't have any awards buzz, then it won't.
Yeah. Well, I think just being released in theaters should make it pretty easy. The only issue comes then if you really get nitty and gritty, if you get like documentaries, like would you ask an American Factory question? Mm-hmm. And then you get a little dicey.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the documentary having that slice, but that's
exactly that's the issue.
Yeah, to me that gets really iffy. I do love documentaries, but I mean that's kind of moot point. But I don't know if that would count. But that's just like a personal opinion thing, honestly. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One of the questions for Brittany was Oscars, and it had a documentary question in it.
Yeah.
So like they do have documentary questions in the Shmoan. They're just in other categories. So
I do feel like I heard that question before. Mm-hmm. So I want to say it's from an older season, to be honest. So but you know,
I mean. Only for Columbine, I think it was which one it was.
Yeah,
is a very famous documentary.
Yeah,
but
it's Michael Moore is one of the most famous documentarians of all time, next to like Ken Burns and stuff. Like I think asking him is a bit fair. Or I think like Snyder got last year, like who directed "Won't You Be My Neighbor," which is a lot harder of a question.
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor? Probably most iconic theme songs ever. Won't you be my neighbor? So good.
Yeah. But yeah, so I could see there being a slice for documentaries, but I think it would have to be like
director exclusive.
No, I think it'd be plot exclusive almost, because I think directors of documentaries are very small again unless you get the Michael Moores, the Ken Burns.
Well, yeah, I've watched like 10 this week. I couldn't tell you one of the directors, but I could tell you everything that happened in them.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's usually, like you can't really, since they're based on life, you can't, there's not going to be like actors or there's not going to be Scarlett Johansson like in a documentary that's about, you know, like a small town murder situation, you know, I mean, so like in that case, you're not going to be talking about who starred in this. There's not going to be no surface questions like that. And I know documentary like release dates is like really iffy. So you can't really, I'm not really entirely sure if you can even talk about like movie release dates when it comes to documentaries. I feel like you can almost exclusively talk about the director aspect of it.
Well, that's why documentaries are a hard category to have in there, because it is so wide and varied. And not only are there so many, but also it's hard to ask, because most ones you could ask a lot of actor questions, whereas it would imply you could ask a lot. And with a documentary, that both of those get a little hard to push.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, again, we've seen like at most 5 questionable documentaries ever in the show now.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Very difficult to get a hold of documentaries sometimes.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brittany, for her 2-pointer, got what 1967 coming-of-age drama involves a love triangle between Catherine Ross, Anne Bancroft, and Dustin Hoffman?
The Graduate!
Their 2-pointer. I didn't know who Catherine Ross was, so I was very confused for a second.
Yeah, she's not in Love Story, but she's in a... Oh, wait, was she in Stepford Wives? The original Stepford Wives, I want to say?
Could be. I've seen it. I don't know, though.
I'm like... I think it is. I think that's her. Elaine! Yes, Elaine! Elaine! That movie is so ridiculous, I swear. solid.
All right, and then third 3 points.
Wait. There you go. Jader's 3-pointer. Oh, nope. Wait, what? Yes. In The Princess and the Frog, what type of animal is Ray that is in love with a star? I don't think that's a 3. I think that's a 2, but also I'm a Disney nerd. So that's a little
I feel like that's a solid 3-pointer. I mean, if you're not a, there we go.
Actually, wait.
Here we go.
Technically, that's incorrect. I don't think fireflies are animals.
They are.
I thought animals and insects were like different.
They're arthropods. Okay, so here's where it gets kind of so they're arthropods, which are also like crabs and lobsters and things are also those as well, and they are considered animals. So by extension, insects, arachnids like that, I would think are kind of as well. That's a really like could be argued both ways.
I would challenge it because I'm an asshole,
Yeah.
but just like that's one thing I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if she had got it wrong, it would be definitely a solid challenge.
I'd challenge it if I got the answer wrong.
100%. And where it could have been like, you can argue it was very misleading kind of question, but she didn't get it right. So I mean, like, yeah. Are fireflies plants?
And then Brittany got for her 3. Who plays Chris Pine's brother, Tanner Howard, in Hell or High Water? That's a fair 3. That's
Ben Foster. I was very surprised I got that one right. I haven't seen the movie though.
I didn't know that one.
Not a huge actor. Hell or High Water, not a huge movie, but it was in awards contention, so I think you're expected to know it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good.
But say honestly, I feel like you can get that question without even seeing the movie though. Like he's on the poster.
It's also Ben Foster, and you're not asking for like Jeff Bridges or Chris Pine. Like they're not asking the big name actor, which is why it's pushed to a 3.
I guess so. Yeah, it makes sense. Whenever I think of Ben Foster, I just think of him as like the weird blue wizard from that World of Warcraft movie.
Warcraft, yeah.
Oh,
or Warcraft, The Beginning. It's called.
That was a fun time.
Yeah. And then Brittany missed it. It pushes to her 5. What is the name of the villainous billionaire played by Ghai Pearce in Iron Man 3?
I could not pull this one.
Surprised that's a 5. But
anytime I tried to talk about that movie, I just call him Ghai Pearce.
Who plays what is the name of the billionaire villain played by Ghai Pearce in Iron Man 3?
Oh, yeah, I don't.
Aldrich Killian.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to pick that out.
You could also technically say the Mandarin because technically it's correct. So it didn't specify a real name, and he does say, "I am the Mandarin," while he's all white and on fire.
That's true. So probably if you answered that, you could have probably challenged.
Yeah.
Yeah, but use those challenges, people. Even if you probably won't get it, it's better to use it than not.
They're not used often enough, I feel like.
I feel like that's getting better, but still, like there's so many times I'm like, you could have challenged that. Who knows? Maybe when you got your way, but you got some time to recuperate some thinking and stuff. Like just challenge. Just don't let it sit there.
Just time out. So you challenge, you get a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
I am waiting. I remember we did when I did a Schmobade about 2 months ago. Whitney, Seibold, and Chance, there were judges on it. And one of the questions I had asked the competitors to argue is name a rule you would want to be added in Schmodown. One person said that everything had to be both written and phonetically correct to a T, including foreign names.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. I can't remember what Dani ended up putting what her thing was, but I was like, y'all are both wrong because the correct answer is this: to issue an official timeout.
I would love a timeout.
We get a solid 30 seconds or 1 minute of time with your manager or whatever.
Take a breather, do what you got to do.
Jumping jacks or something. Mm-hmm. That would be my rule that I would add if I were running Schmodown, Christian.
Yeah.
I just love Dani's comment at the top here.
Put in a timeout. They would like it.
I like the timeout thing. I think it works more for title matches and stuff. Because in a 3-round match, especially singles, you get sort of tiring. So any timeout, it's like, well, we're like 5 minutes in. There's 5 minutes left. Like,
Well,
I
that's
think it's fair.
I mean, the point is not about the timing or when it's done. It's just about, having that one-on-one time with your manager. Just like in any sport, if you want to align it to a sport, that's what traditional sports do. They have that timeout just so they can have that one-on-one time with their manager, their coach, to be like, hey, to help recenter and to like almost and regame if necessary and re-strategize, because sometimes that's all you need. So
yeah. No. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a long time out, like a minute,
Like I said, that's why, 30 seconds, a minute. Yeah.
It wouldn't affect watching it very much. Like whoever's at the desk could banter for a minute. Like minutes, not that much time, but it could mean a lot to somebody who needs that breather for a second.
They did it for the Iron Man matches where it'd be like, hey, time out. And like, okay, while they're doing it, you get like the on the side camera. And it's like, whoa.
Exactly. I feel like like I said, with like more traditional sports where they do timeouts, it's really cool to have that kind of moment where you can see the broadcasters like kind of doing closer ups of the manager and the competitor or whatever it might be, like chatting it up and having that kind of really close moment. It's like just really cool to kind of see that kind of behind the scenes moment that you usually don't see. So having a Schmodown, we need to make it more, I don't want to say we need to make it more like traditional sports, but it's easier for sports fans to look at that and be like, I understand what you're trying to do and it looks good. Not to mention, I mean, who doesn't like a nice timeout every now and again?
Yeah. Absolutely. If I was a player, I would use a timeout. Like it would be something I made sure I used because I would need it.
After the first question, timeout. Why? I'm not doing nothing.
There have to be rules about when you could do it, like not in the middle of a question or anything like that, but like, in between, questions or, things like that. There'll be like rules. You can't just be like, okay, what's this question? And timeout. And then you have bought yourself a minute and a half almost to think about it. Like that's not when, but like has to be between questions.
Yes. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Didn't realize it was going to pull up. I thought it was going to be here at the bottom. Never mind.
All right. And other questions that are asked. Adelaide, what was the next question?
I had the final piece of the match just ready to show everyone.
Yes. Post-credit or post-match scene. And by the way, like that scene was great, like for what it was like that, but the way it was filmed in it was so good.
You guys can check the history and see what I did. I tweeted at Nerd Chronic, you know what you did, and there's rapid applause because that was maybe my favorite cutscene ever in the Schmodown.
It was so good.
I was howling.
Finstock dangling from the roof and just like Finstock is back.
What is it not about Finstock though? Let's be honest, guys.
Get some like what is it like the Foxy Brown Dolomite style music. It was so good.
It was great. And like the first scene was awesome and like we had good vibes from it through the whole match, and then it just coming back to like almost like punches to the face. It'll be like and boom. Like everything you were suspecting like an hour ago, it's confirmed right here.
It felt like you were hit by a hurricane.
Oh.
What do you think of their managers coming in to kind of represent? I mean, because Ghai and Janine, they were there representing Sam. Even like Lucas said it the other day, and he's like, "Where's Sam been? I don't remember Sam being on like at all." And I was like, "Well, he was there for Janine when."
They film a bunch of matches around the same time, and I think he was at a convention.
Exactly. But I mean, like them shown like this, it kind of
looks like he's been gone a while.
It looks like he's not there. I know he's there. But it just like looks that way, and Ghai and Janine kind of stepping up and. Taking that kind of leadership role. I love seeing Ghai in that kind of role. I was like, yes, I loved it.
Yeah,
I just love seeing him in general. I love the neck piece he has.
I do.
And I don't know what it's called, but I want 5 of them.
It'll be like the new thing. The army just all shows up with them, except for me because I'm Team Bateman, but it's fine.
Not nowhere. Let's just take you.
Oh yeah, wait. I need to find the exact quote that Nat put in the chat a few days ago. Where it was like, ladies' night is bullshit. No, Hufflepuff would support a traitor. Kelsey, you're a liar. Something like that. I just loved it.
I know, right? Who thinks I'm a Hufflepuff? Psh.
I don't
Clearly
like.
a Slytherin.
There's a lot of different types of Slytherins and Hufflepuffs. There's evil Hufflepuffs, and there's wonderful, happy, wonderful.
And evil
Slytherin.
Hufflepuff doesn't give enough hugs. That's all they are. Hufflepuffs
And,
are like pure.
there's evil, conniving Gryffindors, and there's
They're the worst. Let's be fair.
Yeah. It's just that the personality type that's more likely to go evil is Slytherin.
no, it's
Because-
not.
It is. They even say that like multiple times in the franchise. Like that. It doesn't mean that you're going to be evil if you're a Slytherin, but just the type of personality of someone who would be a Slytherin is also the personality type that's drawn to power and is corruptible more often. Doesn't mean that they're going to. Doesn't even mean a big percentage of it. It's just that type of personality type is more statistically likely to.
It's also a class issue as well. Just want to point that out there. Just because in the case of with Death Eaters, obviously his most loyal group was of the 28 families of the most loyal that were Death Eaters, but they were loyalists to the whole pure blood kind of situation, which is super duper gross. But that's also, it refers to, it's a class issue more than anything, and it's not so much if you're assigned to Slytherin, at least traditionally speaking, even if you're going back to Salazar Slytherin, who created the house, he even said it. You cannot be in my house unless you're pure blood. Later on, it was added. You can be a half-blood, or you can be Muggle-born and still get into Slytherin, no issues. But initially, that's the way it started. But so statistically speaking, if you are say a Muggle-born getting sorted, you're less likely to join Slytherin just because of the associations that you see it, and you do have the option to choose to a certain degree, just like Harry Potter did, because he could have just as easily gone into Slytherin.
Yeah, it's true. All right. So we've covered the post-match scene. Any other final thoughts on that other than that Ghai is amazing, Genie is amazing, and we need to see them more often? I think that's the consensus right here.
I think we're all good. I think it's all covered.
All right. So we're ready to speculate about next week then?
Yeah.
What's next week? Speaking of which, what is next week? I'm not entirely sure. Let's bring it up.
Pull it up. Robert Parker versus Ace Cabrera. Yes. I have been waiting for this match.
Robert Parker, oh boy.
I'm so excited. We are finally going to see the Spider. We have been hearing him hyped up. I mean, we've seen him in the families, but on the Schmodown, we've been hearing about him. He has been hyped up by everybody. Every single chill we had for months, we'd ask every competitor, so what do you think about Robert Parker? And they all were scared. Oh yeah, he's scary. We're going to see him. I'm so excited.
I do want to give a small note for reasons why to be scared of him. And again, plugging Call of the Families because I want views. His very last match that he taped, he went 100% on. Don't miss a single question.
In the fan leagues?
Yeah. Top tier player.
That is awesome. Oh, yeah. So, what do you guys think is going to happen this match? Do you have someone you think is going to win? I think I know who I want to win. But
Next question.
I mean, I do. Obviously, I think Robert Parker is going to walk away with the win, but I'm really curious about Ace Cabrera. I really am. We haven't heard anything about him, but I do know his manager was pretty excited. Not Robert Park, he's not a manager, but the Drakes were really excited about him in general, and he's a very new to the whole thing, to Schmodown in general, but he's been actively involved with the world of geek for ever, essentially.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match. I also have been missing IG. It's been a bit, and I need some some nerd questions. Those are the ones I usually tend to do better playing along with. So I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome.
I am kind of curious. I love Robert Parker. I am kind of curious. Not so much hype. He just has so much hype built around him. If he doesn't do perfect, I feel like it's going to be almost a letdown. Like, hypothetically, what if he gets a 5 out of 8 in a first round? Hypothetically. Like, and I know you're going to say Adelaide, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's, we can't assume.
If the turnaround is just 5 pointers, maybe that'll happen. No,
I'm just saying that hypothetically, you know, I do feel like there's just so much hype around him about how amazing and invincible he is that, you know, I just kind of wonder. I mean, it's just a very different environment. Again, you know, it's, you know, so we don't know how it's going to be. You know, he's literally going to be in a room with lights surrounded by like 50 people. So, you know, no pressure. You know, he's going to be actually physically spinning a wheel this time. He's not going to pretend to do it on camera. It's just a very different situation, you know? So I just never want to assume someone is going to win right out the gate. But if I had to put money on, I'm like Robert Parker, obviously.
Sure.
You know,
I think this will be his biggest hurdle as a player, because you always want to get your first match in, so just so you can just so you can warm up, so you can know how the wheel works, how the lights affect you, how to hear questions. Because it's very different in studio versus on a watching along. After that first match is when he's really going to tear into the league. When you say, like, you know, the what if stuff, I don't think that'll be a question following this match where we actually know how he holds up.
Sure.
I mean, but it's still one match. I'm not gonna say, I have a hard time saying someone is absolutely fantastic, you know, after one match, even if they do get 100% accuracy ratings on it. I mean, like, it's just like Brett Sheridan, technically undefeated, but I will not call him an amazing undefeated competitor.
How dare you, Alex?
Brett Sheridan, technically the best player in the league.
Brett Sheridan for the belts. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Unless he won a handful, several more matches, I'm like, I'm just not gonna like put you on that level yet. And Robert Parker, I feel like he's amazing, but I'm not gonna put him on that level yet until we see him. It's just like I feel like it's just impossible to live up to the expectations.
Well, it's just how like when Paul joined, everyone thought he was going to be the next champion, then he turned out to be. Or when Smets joined, everyone thought he was going to be the next champion, and he turned out to be. Just, you know what happens. The
And he's also, and both of them, and Smets, yeah, but I mean, like, but Oyama, he lost the belt.
He still won the belt, which is more than most players can say.
And that it doesn't matter. I understand that, but it doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's like, sure, you can win the belt. Absolutely, you're gonna get the belt. But at the same time, you know, it's how long are you gonna hold it there? How long are you gonna defend?
Look at it like this: no player from the fan leagues has never not won a title. Paul Oyama, Chance Ellison, Kevin Smets.
But not every single we're not going to be having a million more competitors from the fan leagues, you know, join.
But the ones that come from there are high quality, and I have faith that Parker will continue that trend.
It's just a very different situation. Obviously, it does matter if you get it, obviously, and as long as you maintain it. It's just what I'm saying is just it's a very different environment to being in the fan leagues. So we can't assume if you're really great in the fan leagues, you're going to be, if you're really fantastic, if you're unbeatable in the fan leagues, that means you will be unbeatable in Schmodown. It's just such a completely different environment that we can't assume that you're going to be a future belt holder. Even though everyone so far has, absolutely. They're all amazing competitors.
One thing about
assume right out the gate.
One thing about fan league competitors, though, is that non-fan league competitors, one reason why they're on the show is that people, like Christian people, know them personally, like they've hung out with them, stuff like that. The fan leagues have a lot more to prove because they are an unknown person from a random state all over the country that are like me, you know what I mean? Like I would have to prove myself up there to be able to be flown out and involved and things like that. So I feel like it's just the vetting process for fan leaguers is a little bit higher than it is for other
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot higher now in general for competitors. It's very difficult. Like, I mean, Christian has even mentioned it. He's like, I'm not going to bring on just any cool guy I know that's in, that's in a very similar field as me. They have to be great at not only the trivia, they have to be great with being on camera, they have to be good with, character development, and also you got to be available, obviously, here in LA, so there's a lot of different things. Now, again, I know for a fact Robert is going to be amazing. He's fantastic. We've only had like 3 or 4 competitors from the fan leagues. So unless we get like 10 or 15, then we can make it more of an accurate like understanding, being like, hey, because technically speaking, more people that are not from the fan leagues are belt holders.
I mean,
not current, but I mean just in general. I mean, just statistically speaking, that's all.
Yeah. Also, Lucas, your wonderful husband, points out a great point in chat. Everyone's unproven. So technically, on paper, they're 50-50. Just the issue is we have knowledge about Robert Parker, which is why it's more like a 99-1. When we get to Claudia Warfather, technically Warfather has some game tape, but it's a new division, so it's technically like a 50-50. Like, what are we guessing? So, like, you're like the only difference with us picking Robert is we have proof that he at least knows his stuff. Ace we have zero evidence that Ace gets good at anything. He could get everything right. He could get nothing right. We have literally nothing to show. So Robert Parker is basically the person we have to bet on this point, technically.
He'll be seeing
no other option, but honestly, right now, just because he's been so hyped. So I almost feel bad for the guy.
So you're like, where is he? Where did he go? Gilberto in the chat here is like, he wants Parker to lose because of the hype.
Exactly.
Destroy the wheel.
Like I was saying, I love Robert Parker. He's such an awesome guy. I mean, like, you can ask anyone. He's the coolest dude ever. He performs magic at a party. He's fantastic. I've met him in person. He's offered to buy me a drink. He's wonderful. But at the same time, the amount of hype that Christian and the community has put around him, if he doesn't live into that hype, if he does not get the belt by the end of this year, it will be a letdown. And if he doesn't defend it like 3 times, it will be a letdown because of the amount of obnoxious hype. That's why. And I say that as someone that loves Robert Parker. I know that for a fact. He's going to get a belt. I just don't know when it will be.
Fair enough. All right. Do we want to go on and talk about the following week's match, or we can also wait for that for next week? So we have next week to talk about it.
I'm more excited about it because the bottom 2 matches were the ones that were like officially announced. So I'm curious what your thoughts about those are. If we talk about that.
Which ones? The Haben
the teams match and then Zipper Howard.
I'm interested for the teams match. I'm also interested what their names are going to be because it's not on there.
It's more like the combination's interesting. Where I know like Veveda, especially talking to a lot of people who are like Shimodan historians almost. It's like those are like the at least like Veveda is like the person who's like he played great and we wish he was back. He deserved more time. And then each person is teamed with like a largely IG competitor, which is interesting to me. Because we haven't seen Habon since he was KO'd by Mike. Or no, he was TKO'd by
Chandru? No.
I mean, it was either Chandru or Hannah. I'm forgetting who.
I feel like I actually feel like it was Hannah.
Okay.
Honestly.
And then Halabu, who we haven't seen since he got KO'd by Smith in San Diego.
Yeah.
And then Liz, who we haven't seen since Bateman. Like all of them, it's been a while since we've seen all of them. Like a lot of them are just like shaking off the rest, getting back into this league. And then they're very interesting combinations.
Yeah, they are interesting combinations. They are players we haven't seen for a while. So will they have ring rest? Will they be just raring to go? Have they been studying like crazy and are just going to be like, what the hell happened to this player? Like they are scary, even more scary now than they were before. I am interested to see. I've enjoyed seeing the Schmodown players that we've seen a lot of continue to play because they're some of our favorites. But some that haven't played for a bit coming back, I am excited about because I want to see what's happened since we've seen them last.
I'm really curious about the team matchup between Lavick and Miller, Lishan and Miller. I feel like that's such a tongue twister. Lishan and blah, 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 that one. Because I think they're both so amazing. I as far as I can remember, I don't remember Lavick ever competing in teams or singles. So that's going to be really interesting to see.
Mhm.
But also Lishan and Miller. I mean, she did fantastic. She had
Solid
a
player.
really great run for a while. I know it was also like last season was a rookie season, I think, technically, right?
I believe
Last
so.
year.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm really kind of excited to see her in more of a team environment this time. But also, I feel like IG competitors that are also in teams, I feel like they're, to me, I don't want to say the best teammates,
Mhm.
but I feel like they definitely have an edge that other teams might not, because they have a lot of those other different types of niche movies that
Exactly.
other teams might not have.
Exactly. The IG players have a lot of those, big, amazing IG movies under their belt that they know inside and out. While if they're paired up with somebody that knows things more like classics and Oscar movies and things like that, they balance each other out really well.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Thank you for the correction, Malcolm. Halavic has been in teams before. He was part of Superhero News with Hector. I forgot about that.
That was so long ago.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about them completely.
Well, we also had the second Superhero News as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of teams in and out that have came and went and came again and went and
Yeah. I know Liz, she does she hangs out with Bibbs quite a bit, and they in terms like I know they hang out quite a bit, but also the way they kind of talk about movies, it's very similar. They have a very similar thought process when it comes to analyzing movies. So I feel like she might be the next Bibbs potentially, honestly, potentially. And like everything that we've seen from her season. So I think that she might have some pretty awesome matches coming up soon.
I think Liz is more comparable to Whitney, where she is an incredible B player to a team.
No, she's competed a million times better than Whitney. Whitney's competed really great with when he was part of teams with critically acclaimed, fantastic. But when he was in singles, that was rough though. But I mean, but also we haven't seen Miller compete in teams, but we've seen her compete in singles where she competed really, really well.
That's what I'm saying is like, I think she's comfortable in the fact that I think she's a really good player, just that on a team is where she would thrive the best. But being the carrier there, I'm not sure how she would do. I would still have my money on Halavic and Miller because of the fact that
it's a carrier.
Okay. Just I think that if she was with a better partner, she'd be part of a really scary team.
I mean, but not every team can have like amazing veteran member. I mean, not everyone can be paired up with John Roca or an Andraco. I mean, unfortunately, that can't be the case. Everyone has those opportunities. So some of these, I don't want to say lower tier, but less played competitors for sure. They really have to, kind of like step it up, I guess.
Do we know who drafted them? I think it was Roxy, but I don't know for certain.
I don't know. No, it's not Rockstars. For some reason, I have it in my head that they're part of the Droogs, but I feel like I'm intensely wrong.
I'm fact checking this, so just so I can.
Not sure. Okay, you know what? We can find out right now, actually.
Yeah, pull it up.
Amy.
I am slightly terrible about remembering who's on what faction, to be perfectly honest.
I am very terrible at that.
Oh, yeah, they're there. And I'm like, nope.
It could be Quirky Mercs, Swag, Usual Suspects. Let's go with Rockstars. Are they part of Rockstars? Andreco, Stacy. They're part on the other team. How do you pronounce his name? Jim?
Vavoda?
Vavoda?
Yeah. So Vavoda is part of the Rockstars.
Okay, yeah. So he's going to be Jim.
Cool.
They're part of the Rockstars. Okay. And then the other one. Anyone have a gander where it could be? I'm going to guess Droogs, though, for now. Anyone else have a gander what it could be?
Chris Adams in the chat says Swag.
Are they?
Wow. Definitely not Droogs. Let's go with Swag. Let's scroll down. Whammy!
Huh.
So wag, drip, drip.
Grip.
Drafted 5th and 6th. All right. Yeah, but Adam's
Interesting
coming in
combination.
and IG. Look at that.
Amazing.
There's no one. It sounds weird. I don't think there's anyone better to put her with. Edgar's unproven, and then Demi didn't perform. I think Demi lost to Liz in their first match.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think Shannon would have. Sorry, I keep calling her by different names. Liz would have been really solid with RB3.
Yeah, I don't disagree
I
there.
think that would have been a dominating team, honestly.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
Man, I wish that Winston had gotten his like preferred draft position, but then they ended up forgetting Roxy. Remember when that was the biggest drama in the MTS?
Other than the slap heard around the world.
Oh no, just remember when that was the big drama of like them forgetting Roxy and then Winston getting from 2nd to 7th, and now we're here with a lot of like daily drama.
Yeah. At the same time, also, Shannon was like, she went from like 2nd to 3rd or something. How much changed it all as well. Yeah, I know some of them like barely changed it at all, but yeah. Oh, what could have been? What could have been?
Are there any like great players who that he could trade for? I think Liz and Viviani, incredible team. Or even like I think Liz and Wendy could be a really good team. Or just anyone who I think could get to a number 1 contenders match would be an incredible partner for Liz. I just don't think Vladik would be the right person.
You want
me?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say, but like what me and Alex were talking about when you stepped away is that one thing about really strong IG competitors like Havoc's like that, they balance out competitors who know more like Oscars and classics and things like that, just because they balance each other very well.
They have very different strengths and weaknesses usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get a great round 2, but then your issue is round 1 and round 3 you have one player who won't even know anywhere near as much.
Yeah. But in a round 1, if an IG question comes up, instead of both getting it wrong, at least one of them gets it right. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like
it's just like a different approach. It's not a guarantee. But there's like John Roca. He likes Star Wars. He might do really great with the Star Wars questions, which is going to be for the Star Wars match coming up. Or also alternatively, you never know. Kalinowski, before he started going into singles and teams, he might be fantastic with Alfred Hitchcock movies. There's a lot of surprise strings we won't know about until we see them in the matches. So,
for sure. All right. Any other matches we want to talk about upcoming? Or are you ready to move on to our next segment?
I think we're solid.
All right. So our next segment is Call to the Network, where we talk about things we have coming up on this channel this upcoming week. Starting with tomorrow, we have Chill. Chill is going to be amazing. And now I'm drawing, is it Irwin that's on tomorrow?
Yeah, Ethan Irwin. Oh my gosh, yeah.
That is a get. I am so excited. I have not actually seen very many interviews and things with Irwin in general, so I'm excited to get to know the man behind the legend because he's such a strong, amazing player. I want to get to know him better. It's going to be a great episode of Chill. I'm super excited for it. And then a couple days later, Alex, what do we have happening on Schmobates?
On Schmobates, I'm actually here coming this Wednesday. I'm going to be having Kevin Smets as well as Kaiser on competing. So that's going to be on the Schmobates. They're going to be arguing some really difficult, intense questions on Schmobates. That's going to be really cool. And Rachel Silvestrini is actually going to be my co-host. That's going to be real fun. Also, next week on the 22nd, I'm going to be having the Action Guys. Ben Bateman as well as Andrew Ghai are going to be competing as well. So that's going to be a really, really fun time.
It's going to be great. Oh, I'm so excited for that one. I'm excited for both of them. Oh my gosh. Schmobates has just definitely become one of the shows to watch, not just on our channel, but in general in the Schmodown world. So don't miss it, for sure.
Thank you, Christian Harloff.
Yes, thank you, Christian Harloff, for helping promote it because people are now understanding what an amazing show this is, and it's great. Spreading like wildfire. Oh my gosh.
I actually prefer the term wildflower actually better.
Let's just change it now. Okay, we're spreading like wildfire.
Wildflowers.
If you're in California, that is true.
Yeah.
All right. And do we have a Call to the Fan Leagues episode this week?
We do. I don't have anyone locked down. I got people I want to reach out to. Normally, I don't have any guests pinned this early. However, if you guys like last week's episode featuring Ogama, Ellison, and Parker, please let me know. I have more ideas for formats like that in the future. I just want some people to show some interest because I have some more fun, controversial ideas I would love to talk about.
Like what?
There's a big question going on in the fan leagues, like is the Schmodown better than the fan leagues, or the fan leagues better than the Schmodown? And there's like you could break it down topic by topic. It's not something I think is talked about very often, so I'd love to see what could be talked about.
I feel like it's talked about all the time.
Not on camera.
So.
In the dark shadows of the internet, it's talked about.
Conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, we'll have our reactions coming up. We will be posting those as we do them. And then, of course, live. We'll have live. And AAA, I'm not sure. I will keep an eye on our social media whether we have AAA on Thursday or not. I'm not entirely sure. All right. So that's what we have upcoming this week. So we can finish this off with our last segment. Questions from the chat, where you can ask us really pretty much anything, Schmodown related, not Schmodown related.
Could you just talk about cheese again?
Yeah, if you want to talk about
Talk
cheese again,
please.
Subliminally put it in your brain.
Screw that cheese! Hot cheese! Mozzarella, Parmesan.
All right. We have our first question. How are we doing? We miss you too. Oh my gosh.
I'm so desperate to get out of the house, I'm not gonna lie.
I was talking to my friend a few days ago. I wish this had happened like 5 years from now. So at the very least, I wouldn't have to deal with school while it was in quarantine.
I can't
That's
imagine
the
it.
worst part of it. Like, if you think going to college is hard, imagine doing college from your house and not being able to leave. Like, your sleep and work area is in the same space. So the second you get up, you want to work and you fall back asleep.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, he's actually going through law school right now. Online.
Oh my god. Yeah, that like I could see like certain general classes, like general English, general math doing online, but like degree changing classes being done online just seems.
I'm a film major. Imagine how to do that. Here's a hint. You don't.
Oh my god. I was actually going back to school during the summer and fall semesters, and I didn't do the spring semester because I wanted to focus on C2A, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty glad about that. So I didn't have to deal with it. So I guess it worked out.
Yeah. It's very much a struggle bus. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I'm here in Missouri where it's not nearly as intense of a situation. You know, I'm very grateful for that. It's just so boring. It's so nauseatingly boring.
I have just been eating a lot. So if anyone wants to start like a not eating a million calories a day support group, I am down because I need to be told to not put all that mac and cheese in my face.
I've eaten 2 whole pizzas in the past 2 days.
You've eaten what?
2 whole pizzas.
Yeah.
Making homemade pizza.
Yes, this is actually an episode of Cheese to Action.
Yeah.
Right here.
It's our new show. We just need to have a cheese action show now. It's just going to be a thing.
What's your favorite cheesy bad movie that you can't help liking?
Oh,
okay, he's back.
Cats.
I still have not seen Cats.
Cats.
I don't. Is that would be cheesy, or is it just like, or is it like, I feel like that might actually be a cult movie in 10 years.
Alex, you should watch for yourself and formulate your own opinion.
I mean,
let's say
it's not cheesy. Everyone seems to think Suicide Squad bad.
You probably wouldn't like the movie.
I saw that question and I was ready to just book it. So I got my brand new unopened copy of the Greatest Film of All Time.
Did you say that you had to watch it like for a project or something?
Oh yeah, so I'm writing a paper on how The Room sort of cultivated the success of modern cult movies, and I wanted to use The Cats as an example, So I'm getting some of my family friends to watch it for the first time, and I'm recording their reactions, and I'm very excited.
Very cool. All right. Any other cheesy movies? I see another question.
Good.
Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is like, I'm not gonna lie, it's ridiculous. Is it cheesy? Fuck yes. But it's so much fun, and it knows exactly what it is. I mean, it's finish him. Oh gosh, it's so good.
I use cheesy sort of like in a looser term, where I think like sometimes like 10 Things I Hate About You is cheesy, but I still love it, even though it's not like one of those like cheese movies.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's the thing. I'm like, what considers a cheese movie? Because there's so many movies I like that other people don't, but I don't think they're cheesy. I think they're just movies that are good. So, all right. So, should Ghai be a manager for the usual suspects instead of Sam? I love Ghai's manager, but I want him playing. I want him doing what he's doing.
If there comes a time where he's where Ghai is like, you know what, I don't have time to actually put in as much effort to compete, to compete and actively study. Absolutely. Like Rachel, like Rachel, where she's kind of talked about that. She's just like, it just takes too much out of me, the situation and everything. And
I'd argue that maybe like managing takes up more time than competing. Right. I think especially in
depends on what kind of manager you are, though.
When you're managing 10 players and you're trying to do the best effort possible, I think it's really intense.
It depends on what kind of manager you are. You can be Robert Mara Burnett. You can be a Shannon, you can be a Sam, or you can imagine Bonnie Somerville as a manager.
Put
in the effort? Fuck no. But she would be
a manager in that
situation.
All right. Another question I see is, have you talked to Christian about bringing the family to the Schmodown channel?
Christian has told me two things. One, are you that guy from Call to Action? And two, Paul Yama's playing in a three-way. Never happened. So, no. And I don't rep the fan leagues. I just have a channel and I talk about them. Fan leagues and Schmodown are very different. The second you relate them directly, you start getting the mainline fan into it, and then come the issues of how do we know they're not cheating? Because everyone who watches fan league matches thinks people are cheating.
Oh, that's also a really big conversation, because there are it actually happens often enough where competitors are revealed to be cheating, which is very unfortunate. And every league that I've seen, almost every league, I hear about competitors that are caught cheating. So at some point or another. So it's a really it's a very difficult situation. It really is.
Like, imagine rather than our audience of like 300, having 10,000 people like just thousands of DMs coming every day. This person cheated. Here's proof. It's like, no, that's not going to help. And like eventually we're of the idea of like, yeah, we'd love like a bigger audience, but we would never put them on the same channel. I think best case scenario, Christian highlights some fan leakers.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I think Lucas just kind of boils down to it pretty nicely. It's just way harder to regulate people when they do it from their homes.
That's probably why the IG channel was canceled.
It's and not to mention, I mean, my thought process is when I heard that some people actually have been caught cheating in the fan leagues, my thought process is like, why? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Schmodown and I love being part of the fan groups and everything, because I'm a manager in the fan leagues as well. But I can't imagine being in a situation where I'm looking at this and being like, yeah, cheat. I want to cheat, or I want my competitor to cheat. Like that would never occur to me. Just because it's just, at the end of the day, it's just like, why? If it was like it had some real long-term impact on my career or personal future or something like that, I don't know, maybe I'd be a smidgen, more think about it more. But don't, so I can't really imagine a situation with like why, honestly. But if you applied it to Schmodown, I mean, yeah. Even Ghai has said it. If you have never thought about cheating, you probably don't love it enough.
That seems like a...
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I can understand that.
All right. Next question. What exhibition match are you looking forward to the most?
Whatever the new one is.
I can tell you which one I was most excited for, but now I'm very sad about. Ghai was supposed to be in the rom-com exhibition match, and he dropped out.
That sucks.
But I mean, Video Drew's taking Guy's spot, so that's still great. But
at the same time, Ghai versus Rachel versus Janine forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's not going to happen.
All right.
Like, it's a weird hot take. I genuinely hate the fact that they're doing like repeat of ones, like another the third Rocky one, another Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Really big match. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Who's the best?
It
again.
If it's supposed to be over a franchise like Rocky or Jurassic Park or something like that, I would prefer it. I would prefer it if they did it Iron Man style over like a traditional exhibition match. But that's just me personally. I also love Iron Man matches. So I know not everyone is too keen on them.
Fair.
Yeah. I think the one I'm looking forward to most, and I don't have the list in front of me, but isn't there going to be another movie release dates one with Ben? That's the one. I want to see Ben win that because.
Just to clarify, no, I wasn't. 1, I'm a manager. 2, I don't compete. 3, my competitor kicked ass today and he won. So, just saying.
Oh, so yeah. So I'm excited for that one. I want to see Ben win that one. Team Bateman. All right. Any others you're looking forward to or ready for the next question?
Yeah. You can go ahead into the next, I guess. Yeah.
All right. What is the first thing you will do when the quarantine is over?
Fun.
Go to a movie in a movie theater and stuff my face with popcorn.
I'm going to the gym.
That too. Okay, I'm going to go to the movie.
Go work out again.
Eat my way to popcorn, feel terrible about it, and go to the gym on the way home.
No, okay, well, actually, I tie it to going to the movie theater. Well, Luke's and I, when we like to go to we would go to the gym. We do Orange Theory, so we take classes. We would take classes between 4 or 5 times a week, and they're like an hour long, and we love it. It's something that we do together. But I really miss going to classes. I really, really do.
I love the gym too.
But also after that, because the AMC is like directly next to the Orange Theory Center, sometimes we would go to that like right before or right after. Like after we would be in the gym, we would shower and then go directly to the movie theater.
Yep.
And then we would have like a coupon like for a free taco at Mission Tacos. I mean, like, so I like tie them together. And I miss going to the theater as well.
I love the gym. They were building a new gym near me that I signed up for, and it was supposed to open April 1st, and I was so excited. And now it's postponed to open till the end of May because they weren't done building it and had to stop building it. So as soon as my gym membership can be good, then I will be going back because I love the gym as well. And it's also near my movie theater, so yeah.
And Chris Adams had the best answer though. Like 100%. The second this is going down, I want to go out and like get dinner with some peeps. Like I haven't seen anyone in fucking 4 months. That feels so strange.
All right, let's see.
Did I say Coupon? Did I say Coupon?
Coupon?
Yeah, Coupon. Did I say Coupon at some point?
Coupon.
It's tomato, my man. You know what I was talking about. It's Coupon.
We just went over fucking spelling. Is it spelled?
It doesn't matter how it's spelled. That's how
it's spelled like coupon. No, it's coupon.
That's just the way I pronounce it, though. That's just the way growing up. That's how I learned to say it. Coupon. Yeah.
All right, and I like Chris Adams.
I understand coupon, but I mean, like it's
just that too.
There's potato. I mean, like it doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about.
All right, I see a question where would you recast Ezra Miller in Fantastic Beasts and Flash after his video?
Someone explain that to me. What is that? What's that all about?
a video of him like sort of choking a girl and putting her down, but she's like laughing the whole time, and people are
or something? Are they like dating?
And the video looks like he randomly choked and pinned a random shopper.
Mm-hmm.
There was no backstory to it.
There's no backstory to it. She's laughing during it, so it's like weird.
There's some
like
locals who like said like, oh, they saw it live, and it seemed like almost drug induced, but there's no proof, so it's hard to say exactly.
That's kind of weird. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, she was joking. He wasn't, that we know of.
That's the thing, that the video is very short. It doesn't show the lead up and it doesn't show the fallout. So it's really hard to know what happened there.
Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, like some fans are really aggressive when it comes to with their interaction with celebrities. If some celebrities have been like, no, I don't want to take a picture, I'm like with my kids, and fans get ridiculous sometimes. Not all fans, obviously. There's both good and bad fan interactions, but there's some fans that they're very rude for sure.
Yep. All right, another question. Alex, when are you going to show up on Roxy's channel? The Oracle You Know is Video Drew has joined the band. Your turn.
That would be really cool if I was on that. I'm not nearly popular enough to get that kind of recognition.
It's coming, Alex. It's coming.
I'm not going to lie to you. That sounds awesome, though. I would love to. But, I mean, that's not going to happen. Roxy's a very popular, really cool, awesome person. And she's part of that world that I am not a part of.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? I think that's all I saw.
There's one. Where'd it go? There you go. The best question to ask since we're talking about food. Whataburger. In-N-Out all day, no question.
I've never had Whataburger, so I'm saying In-N-Out, but that's particularly because I've not had Whataburger. I've walked by a Whataburger in Arizona and didn't go inside.
Can I say Brahms burgers?
No.
Brahms burgers are amazing. They're so good. Oh my gosh.
I think what we agreed on is that next time everyone's in Cali for Spectacular, we're going to go get In-N-Out. And the next time we get Houston, we're all going to go get Whataburger. So we can actually, as a crew,
no, we need to get both Whataburger and In-N-Out in the same day, so we can have like a pretty accurate.
In-N-Out is like West Coast only. Whataburger is mostly Southern only.
I thought weren't they both in Arizona though?
We're going to Arizona.
I think they like overlap there.
Oh. I mean, I feel like it's impossible to be like, hey. Thank you, Boo.
That is a lie. Don't pay her. Don't feed her ego.
Okay.
Alex is the best person ever.
My competitor, man.
Oh, I'm aware, and you're wrong.
He's great.
Sorry. Who is managing the greatest people to ever grace the game? That's right, I am.
I'm not the greatest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the greatest fan manager. I mean, fan league manager. I'm not even a good fan league manager. I just love everyone on my crew. I help them out with whatever they need, and I like to train with them.
But Caleb Bateman, Caleb Coho, and Thomas Scully.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Best crew.
We're a long
for like the Finstock Exchange, we just have great players, and you don't have to really do anything for them. And then Alex is like bringing people up from the roots. Like she's like, yeah, I'm gonna groom you to be champions.
We have very different management styles, but by no means I am not the best manager in the league. I just work really hard with the handful of people I do have.
There are three great managers: Cody Newberry, Caleb Coho, and Adelaide Spence. Next question.
And Alex. There's four.
I mean, like
I would have Alex.
This is my first season, honestly, managing. So, I mean, like, I would have never call myself, like, the best manager ever. I mean, I would never even put myself in the same, discussion as you or Caleb, just because you guys are all, like, you guys have played in the fan leagues forever, and you guys are, like, really well known. I would never compare myself to Caleb. I know he's a fantastic competitor. He's an amazing manager. We just have very different styles. And whenever I call myself like the best manager in the league, it's because I'm told to say that. It's not because I actually think that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to clarify. People tell me I need to be an asshole on camera much more than I already am. So it's kind of awkward.
Yeah. I have no idea. I'm like just talking out of left field because I don't follow the family.
Dean, come on. Don't even. Kate's a solid manager. Just
Ask out what.
Garth, who's your manager? We don't know who it is. I talked to people for like an hour. We couldn't figure it out.
I have 6 competitors I work with right now every single day, and I'm not comfortable in adding because I've had a lot of people come ask me to join my faction, just to let you know. And I would love to add more people to my faction, but I'm not comfortable adding more until I am in a situation with my current members where I am like, absolutely, I'm comfortable enough giving my current amount of attention to everyone I currently have, as well as my other competitors. Yes. Actually, right now, I would argue potentially one of the great managers right now. As far as like rookie managers, it's
yeah. Plus, I love her character so much.
I gotta like she's maybe the second worst manager in the league, but she's not bad.
What?
I love her crew. I don't think she manages well. That's the difference. Are you gonna
agree to disagree there? But okay.
With fact or with argument? Because I think personally, I love her. I love everything she brings. I just think other managers are more effective.
That you know of.
Facts, Chris. Facts.
10 times more involved as a manager than Kaiser or Dagnino is. You don't
need to know trivia really to be a good manager.
No, Kaiser and Dagnino are legit shit managers. They do a lot of work.
Well, it's like we don't know how much Kate is involved as a manager. We've just heard from a whole bunch of people specifically say the reasons why that she's a great manager. But if you want to believe her or not, that's totally up to you.
Right from the hot man's keyboard.
There, I still think like who would be near the bottom is the better question. I think that'd be a great Triple H question. Who's the worst manager besides R&B? Because we can agree he's the worst. It's an easy out question.
Where's the list?
You just had the list.
No, the list of the managers. I'm pulling it up right now. I got it now. Okay, great. Okay.
I don't know anyone who's flat out bad besides R&B.
Okay. Okay, so I don't want to rank managers right now because I feel like that's going to get really...
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in that.
Really fast.
I opt out.
I don't want to go into that. I feel like that's mean. But, I honestly, I feel like each of them have their pros. I mean, Koi, I feel like he's from what Biz has mentioned, and Brandon, Koi's like a really great manager. He helps them out in different ways. Versus someone like Shannon does. Like Shannon's not going to help with like one-on-one on trivia, but she's not going to be teaching you what you should and shouldn't know about trivia, but she's going to help you with strategy, and things like that. She's not going to help you try and figure out, study methods.
I think Chris actually has a good comment where it's like, it's too early based on
It's also impossible to rank right now, given the amount of matches, and several managers have barely had a match or two.
Yeah, like Koi, he's had I think 2 matches this whole season.
Yeah. Total. Yeah. Or like Winston, he's been pretty solid so far. How involved he is as a manager is, we haven't heard, as far as I know, I haven't heard too much about him as a manager from behind the scenes though, but yeah, they all have their strengths.
That's true. Like some are just, they come about it from a different angle. They have their different strengths. I feel like all the managers have their own skills for sure. It just depends on if you were a player, what skills would you need from that manager? If it's kind of where I feel like the difference lies. Like if it's not a good matchup, like just because a manager and a player styles are not lining up, and so it's causing that player maybe not to do as well, it's not necessarily the manager's fault. It just means that it wasn't a good matchup, and that's when trades and stuff should happen. You know what I mean?
But as far as like saying that someone is a bad manager right out the gate, like in the lower tier, like level like 9 or 10, is I feel like it's very, very difficult to say because you can't really determine it based off of, hearsay, but you also can't determine that off of record right now either. So it's impossible. And it's also, again, purely theoretical. So, we can't really make solid arguments based on hypothetical things. So.
All right. I see some more questions that have popped up. Let's see. What is your favorite TV show that is no longer on the air?
BoJack Horseman.
Like shows that are like done for the season or like
I think total, like they are done.
Done.
They've had their series finale. That is hard. If I could do one drama and one comedy, then but try and pick one. Because my favorite comedy of all time, Parks and Rec, and it makes me so sad that it's not there. I've watched it through so many times. And then my favorite drama is Mad Men. I think I've seen it all the way through like 6-7 times. I'm actually currently on a rewatch right now because I'm just in the mood. So
yeah, I would have to say
Mad Men.
I've only seen a handful of episodes of Mad Men. I blame Gravity 23. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I have actually never watched Buffy. I need to.
Oh, gosh, so good.
I watched the movie, but I've never seen the show.
It's oh crap, I can't remember what it's called. It's about like prepubescent kids. It's animated. It's on Netflix. What?
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. Oh my gosh! I was
saying
if it was like,
it's still continuing.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If it's a show still continuing, I would choose that because I've watched the entire thing like 5 times now. I love that show so much.
All right, another question. If you were limited to 5 movies and 1 TV series throughout the shelter-in-place order, what would you choose?
I gotta write this down. Give me a second.
Oh. Let's say, we're going to write them down? Okay.
I know, that's how I feel because I can remember.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
Okay. I like that because I will forget if I don't write it. Okay. So we'll do.
This is really intense. I don't know how I feel about this. I had to pull back into my movies.
What's the TV show I pick?
I don't know.
Question. Yeah.
Shoot.
Okay. So I got it first, so I can just give you guys time. So my 5 movies are Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Sing Street, Inception, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Lawrence of Arabia, because the one I haven't seen, and so I feel like I have the most mileage out of that. And the TV show would be The Good Place, because it's the one comedy show that I haven't watched into the ground yet. Like, I haven't watched that. I haven't watched The Office, Parks and Rec, and Friends 50 times each.
All right, I got mine ready. Parks and Rec would be my show because I can watch that over and over and over again and be perfectly entertained. Movies, I have Warrior, Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
Get Him to the Greek,
Okay.
Birds of Prey, and Suicide Squad.
Kelsey.
I could watch them over and over again. I'm not saying they're good. Well, Pop is, but Suicide Squad's not a good movie, but I could watch it over and over again and be relatively entertained. If I had more time, I'd probably go to different options. But also basing this off of what I have watched, and I have watched Suicide Squad twice while in quarantine and Bop, I think 6 times.
I feel like this is a very difficult thing difficult one to ask. I feel so stressed right now. I feel so stressed. I feel like I'm like, okay, I just got the movies. Okay, I have. Oh crap! Can I just like marathon like nothing but Studio Ghibli movies? Can that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm actually doing right now. I was watching Pompoko earlier. I watched Kiki's Delivery Service last night, as well as and Tales from Earthsea earlier today. But okay, so I got 1, Kiki's Delivery Service. 2, I think it's like 1996 or 98 or something. Sabrina with Harrison Ford. Swimming with Sharks. I know it does have Kevin Spacey, but take him out of it. I still love that movie. All Quiet on the Western Front. That's my favorite war movie from 1929. And also Singing in the Rain. I love that movie.
I love Singing in the Rain too.
Yeah.
I really do. I love me a musical. What can I say?
All right. I like this question. It's kind of relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
To put a spin, if you could uncancel a previously canceled show, what would you choose?
I'm just gonna make the person who has this account happy. Gallivants, maybe the greatest musical show ever made besides Glee. Maybe that's an asterisk. Only got 2 seasons. Deserves like 6 and a movie. It's amazing.
I have my answer with that. There's a show called Soap. It came out in like the 70s, and it had like Billy Crystal, and it was great, and it was hilarious, and it ended on a cliffhanger. Like, there were literally like someone was kidnapped, someone was about to get shot. There was like people like stuff like that. It was like, coming up next season, find out what happens, and then it was gone.
But like in Gallivant,
Okay, y'all are wrong.
And then they end it.
Okay, y'all are wrong. The correct answer is Firefly. Firefly, it's one of the greatest one-season shows ever. It's still talked about today as if like people are hoping it would come back. Has only lasted for 1 season, but they but everyone involved, when they actually ended the season, they actually ended up cutting it. They only cut it down to like 9 episodes. But when they wrote it and they planned everything out, they had a plan for like 15 episodes. And so its finale episode, they like found out within like a week. So we're trying to scramble to kind of wrap things up. But it's so good. It's really great.
Some of us haven't seen Firefly, so it can't be an option.
It's something you can knock out over a weekend or even over a day, depending on like, I mean, you're home. I mean, like if you have the time to do it, go watch it. It's just
already watching Community.
It's really
good. That.
It's fantastic. It really is. It's my favorite like sci-fi. Oh, 14. Okay, the 14 episodes. Thank you, Lucas. 14 out of like the 20 episodes that they had. And it's really visually, I mean, I feel like it holds up visually speaking. A lot of cameos by like Zac Efron, and like 11-year-old Zac Efron was in it, which is really cute.
Yeah,
a lot of these like, people.
I've seen the first episode because of that. When I was like a little kid, I'm like, oh my god,
Zac Efron. I love her. She's kind of creepy at times, but that's the point.
All right, here's a question that's probably gonna be painful for Alex. Do you know?
I will lose Pixar. No. I will lose Pixar in a heartbeat.
Wow.
I think lose Ghibli partially because I haven't seen as much, but also I think it doesn't offer as much variety and tone. I think.
In that case, I would tell you to see Tales from Earthsea or Princess Mononoke. I would argue this very similar thing about Pixar. I love Pixar movies, but I grew up on Studio Ghibli. Like I remember watching Princess Mononoke when I was like 5 years old, giving my first real nightmare. Like those movies have range and they're beautiful.
Yeah, I need to watch more of them for sure. With what I have seen of, honestly, I'm not a huge animated movie person unless there's superheroes involved. So I've seen more Pixar movies. So I'm just gonna say Pixar for now, but that's because
there are a lot more movies. I'm not gonna lie. So
because I have gaps in my movie watching. Because if I'm gonna watch an anime movie, I'd rather watch, like The Killing Joke and Mask of the Phantasm and things.
Well, let's say that's what I kind of argue about Pixar, because I love Pixar, but a lot of them they have different tones, but they're all children's stories specifically. Like they all revolve around children. Sure, as adults we can look at them and like see a lot of new meaning behind it, but they're children's stories. Like Inside Out. So much symbolism. It's amazing to dissect it and everything, but at the same time, it's about like a 10-year-old girl at the same time.
But
also probably one of the saddest movies of all time.
Where would we be without Finding Dory?
I don't like Nemo.
I wouldn't be I got married to my ex-husband without Up.
I just proposed
I heard your opinions about Finding Nemo, and you're wrong.
I have very bad opinions on movies. I've never liked Finding Nemo or Finding Dory. I just never did. Even when it came out, I was like, oh.
Finding Dory is bad, but Finding Nemo is one of the greatest animated films of all time.
Cool. I feel nothing for that movie.
God damn it, Garth.
All right, let's see another question. Would you rather see the New Mutants or the Snyder Cut? I want to see New Mutants.
Snyder Cut, only so I can stop getting Twitter notifications to see that the Snyder Cut is trending.
Because I don't give a fuck, you stupid fanboys. Just stop.
no one cares that your movie was edited a little. Oh my god, that's so interesting.
The only what I can say about it, I think it'll be kind of cool to see it, just because apparently it had a very different tone, very different vibe. Not to mention, it had a different composer. I mean, it had the composer that was that did the music to Wonder Woman, and so, but apparently when what's his name, the director of Avengers, I can't remember his name. He did Firefly. What's his name?
Joss Whedon.
Yeah,
There you go. I remember thinking, I was like, it's not Jeff. I know that's not Jeff. But Joss Whedon, he when he was brought on board, he's like, yeah, it needs a comedic element, and so I'm gonna bring on Danny Elfman to compose this movie. And
Danny Elfman, who went from the most iconic composer of the '90s to the most forgettable composer of the 2010s.
Oh, that's
he hasn't made a good score this decade, arguably. Like it's really
what movies has he done this composed for this decade?
Dumbo. He did that. He did Justice League. He did Age of Ultron. He's done a lot of blockbusters with music you just sort of forget exists.
Oh, I'm curious. I'm very curious.
I'm gonna look this up now because
yeah, I'm curious. I'm looking it up right now. Oh wait, no, that's not. Yeah, actually, Yeah, I really enjoyed Danny Elfman. He's like one of the very few composers where I feel like he's in a very similar wheelhouse as like Hans Zimmer, or where it's like when you hear the score, you're like Hans Zimmer, or like Danny Elfman. He has a very specific sound where you can identify him as a composer, his style immediately, and I can respect that tremendously. He's so talented.
Like Danny Elfman, who has composed such films as Real Steel.
Man, that movie's fantastic. Don't you dodge on Real Steel. That movie
American
is
Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook,
great scores.
50 Shades of Grey.
Dude, have you heard that soundtrack and that score? I don't care if you like the movie.
The music's decent in that movie. That is true. The movie's garbage, but
and The Grinch.
I will fight you on that.
Recite anything from those scores. It's not quality of movie, it's the score.
I listen to 50 Shades of Grey, at least like the soundtrack, not the soundtrack, sorry, the score itself on my Spotify account personally, at least once every 2 weeks. But that's just me though. I love that score. Like the Twilight movie. I don't care about the movie all that much, but that soundtrack.
The first Twilight movie soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. I listen to it all the time.
I love that soundtrack more than I like the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. That's how much I love that soundtrack.
It's so good.
It's Twilight, the movie kind of hit me at a certain point in my life.
Hit me at the right time too, yeah.
I don't like Pulp Fiction. I think it's fine, but I just not drawn to it. But that soundtrack by Twilight, oh.
Yeah, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you there. Loved that soundtrack.
Yeah. It's I love that you love it. Just to clarify, I'm not knocking you for loving it. You know, I can acknowledge, Jake. Like I said, I have terrible taste in movies. It's just my taste, and I acknowledge that. I mean, Adelaide, they know it. Kelsey, they know it. I mean, you guys know it. It's just personal taste. It's all subjective.
Yep. I mean, I've watched Suicide Squad twice in the last week, so maybe I'll have our things.
Kelsey.
We both have horrible taste.
You need help.
I can acknowledge that.
I don't like most of that movie. There are things in that movie, though, that hit me in the right spots at the right times. So I'm like, I'm in the mood.
Option for you. You download the movie and cut everything out for the parts that you like, and then just upload that to your private YouTube page and just watch that on repeat.
So pretty much everything except for Enchantress parts.
I understand that. I do like bad movies. I do. I acknowledge that. I'm not hiding that. Just different tastes, man.
Yeah.
I like Mortal Kombat, and I like Studio Ghibli movies over Pixar. It's just,
all right.
I grew up on Studio Ghibli movies in childhood. I didn't grow up on Pixar movies as much in childhood. I didn't see Toy Story until I was like 12, even though it came out when I was like 5. So, kind of hit me a little bit later.
Question from Garth. I get to ask Mara a question on Monday in Roxy's stream. What should I ask her?
What her favorite kind of cheese is.
Yes. Ask Mara what her favorite color, what her favorite color hair she had. Like what's the best like hair dye color you could get?
Arctic Fox is the best brand. As a person who's dyed my hair every color under the sun. Yeah. I agree with the cheese question. I feel like that's a question you should ask all people. That should be like the thing you ask people now. So, what's your favorite kind of cheese?
That actually is a thing on. If you haven't noticed it, it is actually a thing for me on Twitter. Anytime there's like some kind of AMA, like Janine, like she gives me a different answer every time though. She said cheddar, she said pepper jack, and then she said Swiss another time. So I guess it's just like what she's feeling at that moment. But yeah. Let's say thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We've been here for quite a while.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the questions too. So I think it's time we can start our signing out for the evening. All right, Alex, Mac Daddy, where can people find you?
I have Twitter now, so definitely follow me. That'd be really cool. I'll probably follow you back because I actually know who you guys are. You can follow me at real_Alex Mac. It's actually in the description box below. But also you can find me hosting with Video Drew Cinema Bias on Tuesday evenings. So that's gonna be real fun. We're actually gonna be dissecting into one of my favorite movies of all time, Triplets of Belleville. It's an awesome French animated movie, which is fantastic. And also you can find me hosting Schmobates every single Wednesday evening at 9:30 Central. And I'm gonna be hosting it with Rachel Silvestrini, where we're gonna be watching some people debate to the death with Kevin Smets and Kaiser. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at TemekuFilmNerd. Film Nerd. That's at TEMEKU Film Nerd. Watch Call of the Families every Friday, time pending, because we work around a lot of people's schedules. Check out Multiplex Entertainment. Thank you for being on live chat. Full Metal Media, and Movie Trivia Face Off. Also, check out Movie Trivia of Pacific on Apple Podcasts, where I host my own movie trivia thing, where it's with students. So it's a lot less competitive, a lot easier, a lot more loose. And you hear me try and be funny for like an hour every couple weeks. I'm not, but it's a fun time.
All right. Awesome. And you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. Also run our podcast's Instagram, so you can interact with me there. I'm trying to get better at posting things, but I'm not naturally very good at IG, or the Instagram, whatever. So we'll see how that goes. TeePublic, we've got merch. They've been having sales off and on recently, so get your Schmodown and Call to Action merch on there. I also have my own channel where I've been doing a lot of gameplays and Harley Quinn reviews and things. So check me out every week, and you can find my thoughts on the animated Harley Quinn series from DC Universe.
And you can find us in audio podcast form, just saying, as well.
Yes,
just
listen to us on audio.
Anywhere podcasts are found on Twitter and on a whole bunch of other places. Twitter, no, obviously you're on Twitter, but on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, everywhere podcasts are found, because you can find this and all other podcasts there.
All right, then. Well, thank you so much for joining us this time, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.